Secure your tinfoil hats, buckle down tight, and hold on loosely as we soar over the rocky tops of the La Platas on a rocky mountain high, get sucked into the vortex of the Four Corners, and settle down snugly at mile marker 420 in colorful Colorado. It is Sunday, May 31st, Monday, June 1st, for those of you across the pond and beyond. Welcome to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm so glad you guys could join us this evening. I'm your host, TessaTNT, and I hope you guys are having an awesome weekend so far, enjoying your time together and relaxing. I know a lot of us are working right now, including our guest. He is a man of all trades. But I'm so glad you guys could join us on one of our many outlets. Right now we're live on Spreaker.com under We Are Paradox Media, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iTunes, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Tumblr, YouTube, SoundCloud, TuneIn Radio, Deezer, as well as Podcast Addict. So I have a treat for all my guys and gals out there. Tonight we will be talking to and getting to know Mr. Roy Washington, and a lot of you know him as Quest. Roy Washington, the CEO of Quest Nation, based out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, was born in 1966 and was raised in the Milwaukee area. He went off to serve in the United States Army in 1985 and began doing music in 1988 while still in the service. He enjoyed a very good underground musical experience on both the secular and gospel arenas. In 1988, along with his best friend James Lewis, known as Midwest James, they hit the underground circuit hard using the name Demolition. They brought in several local rappers under their umbrella to form the Demolition Posse. In 1991, they switched over to the gospel scene and changed the group name to Forgiven, and our fan base exploded. Roy started the Quest Nation movement in 2015 to promote a spotlight indie and underground musical artists as well as positive youth in their communities. They have also become very popular with their shows dedicated to topics like relationships, spirituality, politics, current events, and even the paranormal. They pride themselves on uplifting and inspiring others and reach their full potential. This has become their show's mission. In 2017, Quest Nation partnered with Mrs. Deborah Gillespie and Mothers Against Gun Violence. They have done plenty of events with them in an effort to take a stand against violence of all kinds. Hold on one second. Oh my goodness. My stuff, I don't know about you guys, but my internet and everything has just been so crazy lately. Even all my electronics. Okay. So they did this in an effort to take a stand against violence of all kinds and to bring their city together. This includes block parties, shows at City Hall, and a couple thriving radio shows on both WGLB Radio and River West. They have hosted many of the state's political leaders on their show, like the new police chief, as well as successful book authors and public figures. In August 2017, Quest Nation won Best Indie Format at the GRM Awards out in California. In August of 2019, Quest Nation walked away with 2 more awards at the GRMs. Roy is currently recording an EP called The Final Ingredient, which will feature many young music stars along with himself on the tracks. MAGV and Quest Nation are determined to continue their track record of putting out quality talk radio shows by podcast and on radio, and they look forward to continuing their work of uplifting and inspiring their people. It's so awesome to have you on the show tonight, Quest. Thank you so much for joining us. Sorry about the little snag there. I'm doing really good. I'm excited to have you on. I'm sorry you had to work this evening, but I'm glad you're still able to be here. That's right. So awesome. Can you tell us more about how you got started into the music industry? What inspired you to do that and to bring in others, like you said, underneath your umbrella?
and I ended up doing that show by myself, and that as a rapper.
Having some technical issues for some reason. I hear you, but nobody else is able to hear this. Yeah, hold on one sec. See if I'm through now. I don't know what this. I have not changed the settings, but had issues so far. Go ahead and say something. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I can hear you, but it's not coming through. Let me. Okay, he said you're gone again. Let me go over here. What the heck is going on? Weird. Right? So we're having her tech days. Holy shnikes. Everything looks like it's so stuck in. I'm getting back in here again.
Is there a plug that needs to care?
Sorry. Buzzing.
I heard my.
Holy shnikes.
I can second. Short. Hello?
What's up? I had him right there, he said. Going back over here. I don't know what is up with this. Oh, we lost Skype. Wow. Okay. Sorry, guys. This is insane. Bear with me, grr. Chris and I thought we had bad paratechnical issues. Like, this is insane. Man. That looks right. That looks right. Okay. Try calling him back. I'm trying to call you on the other computer. For some reason, you keep popping up on this one, and this one doesn't even have the Skype on. It's freaking weird. Do you see me calling?
Hello?
Hello. I can hear you now.
Right.
There, you're coming through. Awesome. What the heck? That is so weird. All right. Welcome back.
All right, yeah.
Okay, so going back to how you started with the music industry, so everybody that missed out on it can hear. Sorry about that.
Well, when I was in the military, I served with a young man named Tony Bartley. He was a rapper out of New York, seasoned rapper. His name was MC Breeze, and we used to we used to throw rhymes back and forth. I was always a great writer, and he just helped me to form my just bringing me in as a young rapper. And we used to go and rap in the colonel's office and the general's office and stuff like that. With the high brass, and they set us up for a really big performance when it was close to Christmas time, and there was nothing but high-ranking officers and their families in there and everything, and we were just going to do the show together, but something happened back home, and he had to go home on furlough to take care of some business back to New York, and so I ended up doing the show by myself. Butterflies like crazy, but got through it, and I got rave reviews, and this been doing it ever since. So
that's awesome. So you got to play for the Officers Club, basically, and had a really good reception.
Yeah. It was and really it was a paranormal song I did.
Really?
The first rap song I ever written was a paranormal one. It was called "Ghost in the Night," and this was a show that was close to the Christmas, kind of out of season, but we had something we was going to do together, and him leaving just put me at a place where I had to do whatever. Now I'd already been working on a song called "Ghost in the Night." Dougie Fresh, a famous legendary rapper, had a song called "Play This Only at Night" on one of the CDs, and it's the instrumental that sounds just like the Halloween music, but it has a hip hop beat behind it. And I just wrote a tune that was almost kind of like a 48 Days Later song, where you waking up and everybody's like blood sucking vampires, and and I'm having to try to escape and everything. It was a pretty good song, and everybody got up and started dancing and everything. So it was a pretty good song, and that was the first song ever written, and that's what got me kicked off doing what I do.
You got bit by the bug.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then it was you and your best friend that were doing it at first, and then you incorporated other artists.
Yeah, so when I came home from the military, while I was in the military, I started buying equipment and everything. So when I came back home, my best friend, Midwest James, that's what he goes by now, but we just called him Jay back then. He was a DJ, scratching and cutting and everything. So we started doing recording and performing places, and so we had other groups, people wanting to come and be down with us, so that it became like a posse, groups underneath us, come in and record and do shows and everything. So we had a lot of fun with that.
That's awesome. And the military does allow you to do that because a lot of times you're living on base, and that generally doesn't cost anything or a lot. So you're able to stock up on things like that. So that's awesome you were able to do that. And thank you so much for your service in the military. We really appreciate you. What were you doing for your MOS?
I was a petroleum supply specialist. I was 76 Whiskey, and then they changed it to 77 Foxtrot, which combined petroleum supply specialist with truck driving. So I drove a 5,000-gallon fuel tanker, and we used to refuel all kinds of helicopters and tanks and vehicles, out in the terrain. So we could set up our own little gas station and then refuel many vehicles, and then break down and get moving again. So that's what I did.
That's awesome. Did you ever have to go overseas or anything like that?
Right when I was ready to get out, they asked if I wanted to re-up and then go back overseas, but I was already determined to go home and start doing the music and everything.
Yeah, I wasn't a lifer type either. I always said that I would never join the military, and then due to certain things in my life, it was the best thing for me, and I'm so grateful for it. It really did help me out a lot. And
and the military, as far as just meeting all kind of different people. One of the guys I served with, he was our mail clerk. He was a satanic priest.
Oh wow!
And yeah, so we got a chance to meet people from different walks of life.
Yeah, I know in our platoon, we had a couple girls from Nigeria, and we were kind of confused. We were young at the time, and we were like, wow, how are people from other countries coming over here and serving? But I think that's a way that people gain access to citizenship and such. And they were so awesome. Two of them were twins, and it was just funny to watch them together and just their personalities and stuff. It was very diverse, so many different people, but kind of, on the wavelength. Working towards the same goal.
That's cool.
I love diversity.
Yes, me too.
So you've lived most of your life there in Wisconsin?
Yes, I've went other places. After the military, I think I moved, went to Georgia, went to school down in Albany, Georgia, and got me an associate's degree down there. And I lived in Benton Harbor, Michigan for like a year. But for the most part, yeah, Milwaukee's been my home, and I'm looking to maybe in a year go out to the Pacific Northwest. I want to go to Oregon. I want to be by the mountains.
Yeah, I've heard a
I
lot of good things about Oregon. It's really beautiful out there. I
Yeah,
also read that
just watching.
if the zombie virus ever broke out, that's where it would be.
Okay, right. Yeah, go out there and do some squatching, and you know, hunting or whatever. So that's where I want to go. Oregon seems to be a beautiful state, so I just want to do that.
Yeah, it got me wondering. I wonder if they have blackberries there. I know in Washington that was one of my favorite things, where the blackberries in the forest, they just grow, and they
Yeah.
were so delicious. I tried to grow some this year in my yard, and they did not want to grow. I don't know if I got some duds or what.
Yeah, so I've had a blessed life so far, and I'm really enjoying myself right now.
That's awesome. What made you decide to go into the military?
I signed on when I was a junior in high school. I guess my recruiter was pretty smooth. He got me to sign in, and so my whole senior year, he was visiting me, making sure I was doing what I was supposed to do. Um, but by the beginning of my high school career, I kind of I was a gang member. Did a lot of gang stuff, so I really turned my life around in my sophomore year. So that's be just going into the military, getting some discipline, and becoming a man. You know.
For sure, that's awesome that you were able to do that. I'm sure the gang life is so crazy. I've had a couple brothers and friends that have gone through that and gotten out, and I'm so glad you did. It's just really not a good way of living. My nephew was running around here the other day talking about gangsta this and thug that, and I'm like, you
Yeah.
know what? I don't want to hear any more of this gangster stuff around my house. Gangsters go to prison and gangsters get killed. You don't want to be a gangster.
Right. And then one thing about the EP that I'm doing, it's going to be nothing but conscious music, positive music, but it bangs just as hard as the negative stuff, And some of the young people say that a couple of songs are some of the best that they've heard in a long time. So I'm looking forward to this EP. I have a rock band in Krakow, Poland. Shout out to Dan Medina. He's doing some guitar riffs on a couple of songs.
Gravity.
Yes, yes, yeah. Well, you already know about him, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about this project. I just hooked up with a guy named Griff. I want to give him a shout out. Griff, he's in Canada. He did music with Drake back before Drake got big,
Oh,
and now
wow.
I welcome Griff into the Quest Nation family. He's going to be on a couple of cuts with me, so it's going to be a powerful EP.
Yeah, I've been so blessed that you came to me a while back and offered music to me for my show. And, instead of doing commercial breaks, I love music. That's one of the things that's the main thing I really missed besides my family when I was in boot camp and such was music. I thought I'd be cigarettes or something totally different. But I remember having to go to the medical facility, and the bus driver was really smart because he'd turn on the music, but he turned it down so low that you had no choice but to be quiet because everybody wanted to hear it. But
Right.
I think it's the universal language and it's universal medicine. It's like so good for you, and it really does change people's lives.
Yes, it does. Yeah, music is very powerful. So it does. I'm listening to some songs the other day that's brought tears to me and stuff. That's how powerful music is. It touches your emotions.
Yeah, so far you've allowed us to partake in hearing Britt Casey, Hosni Bronx, Nonya Toria, Tracy Cruz, Mocha T. We got Michaelin Hay, Fred Johnson, Fluid, Miss Pretty Mystique, your band Prime Example, as well as Gravity from Krakow. And then you have a new release that you have, and you actually gave me the clean version, which we're not terrestrial, so we could play whatever, but I was listening to it earlier, and it's pretty awesome. We can play it now if you'd like.
Okay, you're talking about subliminal.
Yes, and you said this had a lot to do with things going on in our world today. Would you like to talk a little bit about it before the song, or do you want to wait till after?
Yeah, well, we see what's going on right now with the protests and everything, and the police brutality. And so that was just my song, just saying that enough of the police brutality and everything. Treat everyone the same. Whoever we put in power, as far as being the president, be honest with the people and be for everybody. Don't be for one group and not for everyone. If you want to hold the highest seat in the land, then you need to represent the people. You need to represent our country. So that was just my little, throwing some shots at the police and then the 45th and whoever else. Just a little, just be what you want to call it, just throwing a tantrum.
Yeah, getting it out.
Yeah, and Chico Manolo is one of the great young performers in the underground music scene anywhere. He's awesome, and he's on there with me. He's one of my little proteges, and he's a dynamic artist.
Yeah, it's really sad that we're still going through these things, especially in our country. We're supposed to be more advanced than people, and I don't know, it seems like I feel like we got so far, and then, with this last presidency, it seems like we took about 20 steps back as far as racial equality and such, and I don't know, that's just me personally, and looking around, my world around me, and how people are acting and things people are saying, and even our own president.
Right.
And it's just really sad, I thought we got past this, and now here we are again with this police brutality. And, looking at this case, I guess George Floyd had a previous encounter or relationship with this particular officer. I don't know if they worked in the same nightclub or what, but...
That's why I think in the same nightclub.
Yeah, and they had a few run-ins before, and so I don't think this had anything to do with police work. I think this had to do with him being a freaking bully and thinking he was going to get away with it, and it's just, ridiculous. You can't do that in the world to anyone.
That's right. So, yeah, and then right now I was looking before we got on the interview, people out there looting right now in Santa Monica, California, or whatever. And that just saddens me too, because if we're trying to make a statement, then we got other people with other agendas looting and going in, stealing things and burning things. That kind of dilutes what we're trying to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it dilutes the message that's really trying to get out there, and not, what you're doing is just ignorant. Not you.
There you go. Yep. So if you're gonna play it, the name of the song is Subliminal, and that's one of it's not a final master. Dan Medina's gonna do the final master of it, but it still sounds pretty decent for the radio show.
Heck yeah, I was digging it. All right, here we go with Roy Washington's Subliminal.
Yeah.
See you, Roy Washington, man. What's happening, man?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. They never say it in words, but in deeds wars declared. Justice is gone and the sight's none is spared. Especially the kingdom encased in melanin. But these suckers are weak, kings and queens will ride again. Come on. Slackers with badges, the white sheets and the maggots. Watch them fall as I tag them because I'm better than average. A sharpshooter with words with my eye to the scope. Can they escape when I've donned the black cape? Is hell no. I'm a ninja for right, who can vanish from sight. Pick you off in the night, but still the Lord is my light. Perceiving all you see, the truth behind the scenes instead of jumping bandwagons, the light says believe in me, cause you're a puppet, no doubt. 45th turned you out, though I saw your lips moving, no sound came out. So I was sent from the heavenlies, born so you could find me. Swam the scene and stream, took flight during the 90s. Landed in grace, wrote a verse of hip-hop, got with Jay and found the taste was smooth as butterscotch. We had hood love and money, problems they be on me, but we stayed in the flow and had juice like Manolo.
They can try to oppress, and you can try to impress. Come on, after success, none less, none less. You can look in my eyes, you can and it's so subliminal. Got God on my side, I ain't worried about none. If it ain't about money, then it ain't about none. Laughing at my enemies, I know they see me coming. If it ain't subliminal, they can't even see me. Politics and violent shit, I'm here to raise the consciousness. For every face and race up in this nation trapped in poverty. Diamond in the rough, need to cut, shape it and polish it. Bad thoughts cripple life, we can be an optimist. We can be an optimist, reconstruct apocalypse. Broke people always hating, mix me with that gossiping. Rose up in the concrete, rain and sun, I'm blossoming. My people need to be like kind of Velcro, then we conquer it. They can try to oppress, you can try to impress. I'm just after success, none less. You can look in my eyes, you can feel in my vibes. King down the side and it's so subliminal. Got God on my side, I ain't worried about none. If it ain't about money, then it ain't about none. Laughing at my enemies, I know they see me coming. If it ain't subliminal, they can't even see me coming.
The 45th is a joke, and he's weak in disgust. He plans to divide, but there's no stopping us. If we have to fight, go toe to toe for our lives, we prevail and got sight, cause only light I recite. I blow my lyrics like a shotgun, camouflage inside the tracks, now watch the suckers run. I'm moving fast enough, hands up, now here I come. I designed 50 ways to make this murder fun. I spit the lyrical rain that coat the concrete, that give life and take form. Arise and walk the street. Am I the greatest to spit? Feel the spray and we'll see. Let it dry, all the lies and the truth will point to me. Even when surrounded by a million MCs, I'm the one under the sun who's the greatest of these. I got the Holy Ghost juking and tapping while I'm rapping. Sticking and moving like Roy Jones, I'll make it happen. Even animals move when the novelist is rocking. My doggy started barking, his ears just a-flopping. Subliminally, I penetrate camps like an enemy. Flicking the lights, cancel sight, cause you're not seeing me.
They can try to oppress, you can try to impress. I'm just after success, none less. You can look in my eyes, you can feel in my vibes. Live a king down inside and it's so subliminal. Got God on my side, I ain't worried about none. If it ain't about money, then it ain't about none. Laughing at my enemies, I know they see me coming. If it ain't subliminal, they can't even see me coming.
Awesome. So what are you thinking about doing to it to finalize it?
Well, just I'm gonna have Dan just when they do the final mix, they just bring out certain sounds. So just to clean it up just a little bit, So when you've been in the studio all your life, you hear music a little different than just an average person on the street. They hear it and be like, man, it sounds great. But if you have been in the studio all your life, you know that maybe the drum or the beat have could be a little clearer or this and that. You dissect it differently. So that's what it is. But it sounds really good. But he's gonna clean it up a little bit, And I might not on that one, but some of the other songs I'm gonna have him do some hard rock guitar.
Heck yeah, you can't go wrong with that. That's awesome.
Yeah, I have a song called "Where Your Love At" that he did some guitar solo on there that was crazy. But I don't like the way my vocals sound on there, so I'm gonna do my vocals over. So I'm holding that one back right now.
So when are you planning on releasing your album? Do you have a set date, or are you just letting it come as it may? How exactly does that work out for you?
Because of COVID, it got pushed back because I would have been finished by now. So I have 3 songs done, and the EP is probably going to be 6, maybe 7 songs. So I'm hoping to get back in the studio in another couple of weeks, and maybe for my
Sounds like you just got cut off. I'm not sure. Still shows
Yeah.
you there. Okay, there you are.
Yeah, so for my birthday, September 14th, or maybe I'll just do it for October, something that'd be cool. Yeah, the Halloween season, October. Yeah, have a nice conscious EP come out.
So is Jay still working with you on your songs, or is he doing something different?
He's come back. He had kind of stopped doing music, but he's gonna come back because he's super talented. He's probably one of the best beat makers and the producers I've ever I've ever known. He's awesome. His music is just amazing. So yeah, I'm bringing him back for. Cause it would be right if he wasn't on there. We started this. So here it is, with me continuing on this road. It wouldn't be right if he wasn't on at least one track. So we've been talking.
That's awesome. And
the other songs you have is me and Jay. The other songs you have, that inspiration and power play I think you got, that's me and Jay right there.
There's definitely having someone like that in the musical world. It's awesome to have someone that you can relate to, and you don't even have to say anything. You just give them a look or whatnot, and they're picking up what you're putting down. It's pretty awesome.
Yes, most definitely. I mean, yeah, we especially when we went over to the gospel circuit, we really sold out places and really had a great time. So music has been really good. Had some great adventures. I talk to these young people a lot now. They got the GPS and all that. I remember we used to get in the car and with nothing but a map, and we're going somewhere out in nowhere in Illinois somewhere. But that's just the hunger that we had back then, and that's the hunger people should have. If you had something that you're trying to do, have that same type of desire, to get it done.
For sure. Have you found that in the music world today, things have changed as far as like doing live gigs at bars or other locations? A lot of people seem to be mostly using DJs and doing music that way. So it's hard for a lot of bands to be able to get out there and play live. Have you found that it's changed a lot these days than in the past?
Yeah, I found out it is changed, and what you say is true. But one thing that's glaring to me, I think a lot of people when I go out, hearing a live band is one thing, but when you go out, especially with these hip hop artists, I'm telling them, trying to tell them when I go and hear them, they're rapping along with the record, and I think people take shortcuts nowadays. When we performed, we have our instrumental. Performance instrumental down, but when you come to see us, I'm giving it to you live. I'm rapping to you live. He's singing the hooks live. A lot of these people now they're rapping along with the record and everything, and I think that's cheating a little bit. I've seen one guy performing and seemed like he was taking a break and just was moving his lips while the record was still going. But no, so we did it. It was a little more pure back then when we the people who came along with us as we did it, now people, it's a little different now. And I think that's another reason why he kind of got out of the music, because a lot of young people didn't want to really put in the work when they came to the studio. Because right now you have in the studio, you can just do things once and they can just patch it different places. But he's the kind of guy, he says, I like you to do the hook, now and then do the hook again later on, and I don't want to be patching everything. Just keep on working. So, yeah, shout out to Jay.
We miss you, Jay. COVID has made things crazy. Even people in relationships and all kinds of different stuff. But it's different in the music scene when you're going out and doing it live. Like, if you're just listening to a DJ and dance to the music and get your party on, whatever, that's cool, but there's so much more energy that comes off of the band and their interaction together, and it's so much better live, and a lot of people these days don't realize it, or some may not even care, but I think live bands are better. So I'm hoping that scene continues to go, not just for, the big names, but for everyone.
Yeah, I love live music. Just you get out there, you have a cold drink or something, and you like to smoke a cigar or whatever. Just sit back and listen to the music, watch the band perform. I love that.
Yeah, there's definitely nothing like it.
There you
go. So, growing up, did you have an aspiration to be an artist, or did that just come to you like in your later years?
I think that came to me in my later years. Like I said, once I got into the Army and met Tony, that's when it came to me. But like I said, I've always been a writer. So one of my favorite classes coming up in school was like literature, stuff like that. I could write, and I always got good grades in writing. So I think it was just a perfect marriage, to be a hip hop artist, to be considered, among the top. You have to be able to write as well, So that's what that is. I love to write.
Yeah.
I've written 3 or 4 novels, and
Wow.
now I'm trying to get them published, but I've been sitting on them, but I wrote 3 or 4 of them.
What kind of novels are you writing?
Well, the one that everybody that I let read them love is I came up with a female character. She's kind of like a James Bond and Sherlock Holmes combined, and it's a song called it's a book called Strange Woman, and it's based off of a parable in the Bible where it talks about a woman who's luring men into her home, and the men are never seen again. And so I did a fictional tale about a woman serial killer who's uh, getting men off of their lust, luring them in. And so you got these men disappearing and everything, and then it's an X file. So my character is called to that city to try to find out what's going on. And like I said, it's a nice paranormal story. I don't want to give too much away because I'm about to get it published. But it's called Strange Woman, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been told I need to write my stories down and publish them. And mine are more paranormal, so I know what direction to go there. But I don't know. I think writing is important. It gets different things out there, and poetry has always been really big for me. And have you always written, and you then figured out how to turn your poetry into music?
Yeah, most definitely. I've always been, like I say, I've always been a writer, even from a little kid. When I went to college, they didn't. I was the first one at the college I went to start a newspaper. So I was the editor of a newspaper. They didn't have that before. But like I said, I've always loved to write. Always.
Yeah, it's different. Like today, I can't get my kids to write, and it's very hard to get them to read. But that was something that was really big for me, was writing poetry. As a kid, I was actually published, and then getting into an abusive relationship, I not only lost the will, I guess, to write, but also to do my artwork. So I quit doing my art. I quit writing until years later. I think I was 22, 23, and this line kept going through my head. And, I'm trying to go to sleep, can't go to sleep. And so I got up and put the pen to paper, and I had like this 3-page, I want to call it a poem because that's what it was to me, but it ended up like a 3-page story sort of thing going on. It's hard to get that back though, like once you've lost it. And I did have that one that I did, but I think that's something I could aspire to get back into. It's kind of difficult to find the time with children and such.
Because it's interesting you say that, because I was thinking about, I used to draw a lot when I was in high school. I was pretty nice artist, and I was just talking with a guy who's going to do the artwork for my EP, and he's amazing. And I don't think I could draw like I used to save my life now. It seems like sometimes when you put those talents up on a shelf, it gets passed on to someone else. You know what I'm saying? And so I can't draw like I used to. But I used to be pretty nice. I used to draw all the time.
Yeah, I was in the National Art Honor Society, and the only thing that I draw today is when my daughter will come up and she's like, "Hey, Mom, let's do the 3-marker challenge," or "Hey, Mom, will you draw Sonic the Hedgehog for me?" And even my older kids, when they were younger, would have me draw things, so that gives me the time to actually have that outlet. So that was awesome that they do that. They range from 5 to 20. Oh my goodness. Yeah, Lily. They all have that artistic quality. My mom had it, and I think it's kind of, could be genetic. I'm not sure. But they're all artistic in a certain way. My daughter has all kinds of art all over her wall, and it's just cool. I love it. You know, there's other things they could be doing. I prefer they be writing, which I bought my oldest daughter a book for her poems because she was more of a writer. She was good at art too, but Nova, she's a huge artist, and then Lily as well. Floyd, he kind of does a little bit of everything, but it's beautiful.
Okay, that is.
So it's awesome that you talk to, you know, the younger kids in your community because you understand what it's like to be a youth living there and being in the gang life and then finding a better way. It's cool that you know, put them under your wing and help them to get into something else. I really admire you for that.
All right, well, thank you. You know, like I said, I think we all have a calling, you know, and I mean, we talk about we want this nation to be great again, so I think that everyone who have specific talents or a direction that you want to go into, I mean, just put it on the table and you know, let's put it all together, and we can do major things. That's my belief.
So when was your I'm going to get off track here and go into paranormal. When was your first paranormal experience?
My first paranormal experience had to have been when we seen these we seen the aliens. Me and one of my best friends. We were probably about 10 or 11 years old. We was little guys, and we had we had a club. We I think we were out on a case. We had the guy next door to where he stayed that helped us build a clubhouse, and we had different rooms, and we had a file cabinet, and we was out on the case because we had seen a pool of blood or something the other night or whatever. So we was out, and it was dark, and we was on one street looking through the alley towards the other street, and we seen a line. It looked like aliens with weapons, and they was in formation, and they were walking, and just like the military does, in formation, in line, one after the other. And we stood there for a few minutes, and then just took off running. It seemed like it was about to be an invasion or something. But that was probably one of the weirdest things that's one of the weirdest things I've seen in my life.
So, where exactly were you, and were there other witnesses other than you and your friend, or?
It was just us two on the street.
Wow.
Yeah, and like I said, it was late, and now I'm thinking back, I don't know why I was still out like that. I was a young guy, but yeah, it was just us two on the street. It was dark, and you know, we had the street lights on, and just standing on one end of the alley, looking a block away to the other end of the alley. We was on 19th Street, looking down towards 18th Street, and seeing this long line where you could see like maybe two or three at a time, but they just kept walking past the entrance of the alley like they was in formation, like it was a never-ending line of people just walking, of aliens, and they had something on their shoulder like it was a gun or something, but looked like they had weapons, and we didn't know what was going on. We just took off running after standing there for a few minutes.
Wise decision.
Yes.
Did you guys see any craft, or you just weren't,
No, didn't see no craft. No, just seen the figures walking on the other end of the alley.
That's insane.
If we had the guts to go to the next street, we may have seen more, but we didn't know what was going on. We just took off.
Yeah, Sandra in the chat room said those alley aliens. She actually had an experience in an alley as well with an alien.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's interesting. Wow. I wonder how late at night it was. Man, I just want to be there and like a fly on the wall and check out the whole thing. It just makes you wonder, like, what are they doing here and why would they be on the street? Where's everybody else? Everybody's probably sleeping. But that's crazy. I'm glad you guys got out of there because who knows what would have happened. Right.
But when you're in formation, you're looking straight ahead. So I mean, if that's what looked like they were in formation, if one of them had turned his head and looked at us, I don't know, we probably would have died right there.
Yeah, they have the eyes forward, but you're always aware of your surroundings, and who knows what kind of technology they have that could have picked you guys up. Holy
Yes.
shnikes, that's insane.
Yes. So yeah, that was probably about my first paranormal experience. But I've had quite a few.
I really want to get into them, but we only have a couple minutes before we're going to go to our first musical break.
Okay.
But yeah, I love the paranormal, hearing people's stories and like I said earlier, music. I'm so glad that, we met and that you've been able to share your music with me. And I've been, every show I have your music playing on our musical breaks. And I just really appreciate it because it's so hard. You go out there and you look for good music, but it costs so much for stuff you really want. And just to get that awesome quality music from you. How do you meet these people?
Just they contact me or I contact them. I'm networking all the time. I'm on LinkedIn, and I have artists just calling me now or inboxing me on LinkedIn saying, "Hey, check out my new CD or my new my new track I just put out." And if there's something in it, if it's something good, I want to have them on the show. So I want to spotlight it. So they contact me and I contact them. I guess we've got a reputation now, so it's good that you hear people just saying, "Hey, check me out." So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna check them out, and that's why I'm here.
It's funny because I've had people reach out to me online as well. Hey, here's my music. Can you help me, go big or whatever? And I'm like, well, I know this guy, and I'd sent you King Cinnamon. I don't know if you guys have talked or not. But I play his music as well, just because I think it should be out there, like that artistic ability. On our first break, we're going to have, and I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, Tongiht Toria.
Oh yeah, Tongiht Toria. She's from it's been a couple of years since I talked to her. Yes, she's from Ghana. I like her music.
Yeah, she's from Ghana, South Africa, and I'm also featuring your band Prime Example that you are in. Have you guys disbanded Prime Example and now you're doing your own thing, or do you guys still get together?
Oh, we're still getting together. That's me and Jay. That was just us two. Which song is it?
Actually have all three, but for our first break, My Inspiration. On second break, Dancing Machine, which features your friend. What is her name again?
Features his wife Carolyn.
Yeah, Carolyn Giles.
Yeah, Jay's wife Carolyn. Inspiration. This is a nice for those who's listening. Nice little stepping joint. Clean love song. And just a song for you and your lady, and you guys out partying, having a good time. It's a nice little stepping song.
And then we also have Power Play that's on there, but that's for second break. But yeah, with Tongiht Toria, we have Kaki. Is it Gabon? Or
yes.
Gabon?
Yeah.
Gabon.
Yeah.
Paper Lovin', and she's doing this song with Chris. I don't see his last name on here. Paper Lovin' featuring Chris. That song, I love that song. But yeah, I think out of all the artists that you've sent me, I'm really blown away by Michaela Hay. Like, being so young, like, how is she not big right now? She's just so talented. And
she's big. She's just up underneath that line where you go mainstream. But I always tell people some of the best music out there is underground and indie. She can blow just about anybody mainstream out of the water. I just had her on my show maybe 2-3 months ago. And she's she just graduated high school this year, and her resume in music is as long as my arm.
She's amazing. She just blows me away. And every time I play her, I swear to God, somebody's like, "Hey, how do I get her music?" And then I direct them to you. I don't know if they ever get a hold of you or if they just listen to the YouTube recordings or whatnot. But I
got some good stuff from her. I'm hit you up with as well.
I would love that. Yeah, she's amazing. And like you said, like a lot of people, when they do get big, they tend to sell out and do things they wouldn't originally, just to, stay on that flow. But I love indie music and the underground, and man, there's just so many different aspects and variations going on there. But thank you so much again for allowing us to listen to these wonderful artists that you work with.
Thank you.
Okay, so this break we have Nonye Toria from Ghana, South Africa, with Kaki Gabon, and then Paper Lovin' featuring Chris, and then we have Prime Example with Inspiration. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
Promises I know house for this party. No sleeping, no darling. All my girls wanna do is get rowdy. Mama go, why buy me Joe? 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 So many fine boys in the club tonight. I wanna dance and I'm feeling kind of naughty tonight. Make you wine, I'm no darling, hold your man, 'cause I'm coming. Mama go, 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 go. Mama go, 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 go. Get down on the floor. I gon' make you act some more. Alright, feel it, why buy me Joe? Miracle, let come on, Jojo. I'm not saying nobody. Oh yeah, make you move your body. If you wanna just touch my body, I gon' make sure you tell a story. I'm not saying nobody. Oh yeah, make you move your body. If you wanna just touch my body, I gon' make sure you tell a story. Mama go, why buy me Joe? 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 So many fine boys in the club tonight. I wanna dance and I'm feeling kinda naughty tonight. Make you run, I'm no darling, hold your man, 'cause I'm coming. Mama go, 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 go. Mama go, 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 go. Get down low. Yeah, 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 yeah. So many fine boys in the club tonight. I wanna dance and I'm feeling kinda naughty tonight. Make you run, I'm no darling, hold your man, 'cause I'm coming. Mama go, 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 go. Mama go, 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 go. So many fine boys in the club tonight. I wanna dance and I'm feeling kinda naughty tonight. Make you run, I'm no darling, hold your man, 'cause I'm coming. Mama go, 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 go. Mama go, 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 go.
She know, she know, she know. She know me treat her better than her man. But she a worry about the millions, the millions, the millions. You love me for true, but certain things in life I say I want to do. Ay. So you say me need to understand that you are made for a money man. But if you can't love me now, don't love me later. When my later is much greater, it only proves that you love the paper, my paper.
Boy, me gon' love you now, me gon' love you later. When your later is much greater, 'cause me a one-man trafficator, yeah. They say I love him, but I love you more. He took me shopping sprees and bought me finer, but a crown is more. You're the one that gave me proper loving. Him, I have all the money, everything to satisfy me vanity, but in my heart I knew you were the only one that I would be loving from now till the end of time.
Don't love me later. When my later is much greater, it only proves that you love the paper, my paper.
Boy, me gon' love you now, me gon' love you later. When your later is much greater, 'cause me a one-man trafficator, yeah.
Girl, I know you want stability, but that no mean say you fi sell your soul for vanity, no. Bright lights, fast cars at the city, and the fast lane make you lose your sanity. But me can't believe you sell yourself so short. Forget the money you will make, man, break your parts. But a girl life make your choice, because me now make you break my heart, no. If you can't love me now, don't love me later. When my later is much greater, it only proves that you love the paper, my paper.
Boy, me gon' love you now, me gon' love you later. When your later is much greater, 'cause me a one-man trafficator, yeah.
If you can't love me now, don't love me later. When my later is much greater, it only proves that you love the paper, my paper.
Boy, me gon' love you now, me gon' love you later. When your later is much greater, 'cause me a one-man trafficator,
I wanted to learn the hard way, so I'm taking you to lover school. You want money just for party, girl. You take me for fool.
Every piece of my heart I gave away. I gave it away to you. Why don't you understand, babe? What I feel for you is true. So
If you can't love me now, don't love me later. When my later is much greater, it only proves that you love the paper, my paper.
boy, me gon' love you now, me gon' love you later. When your later is much greater. Cause me a one-man trafficator, yeah. Now, trafficator, yeah.
When you smile, I see the life in your eyes. I hear the rhythm of you, creating moments we chill to. Wrapped in the waves of emotion, it's imperative. We're making love to your mind. It's like the feel of your thighs on my back when I'm deep in consummation with you in the room. It's not the scent of your breath in my face when we touch and share the rhythm of a loving embrace. It's your smile that lets me know I'm on point, that I have written the word in this joint, and it's you. Pretty brown eyes and confidence, you're my ministry, and girl, I'm feeling it. Come on, so smile for me, and don't let my hand go, girl. I just want you to know when I'm sending my love to you in verse 2 with a kiss and a beat that you and I can step to. Come on, God created the heavens and the earth. What he saved is very best for the day of your birth. No longer is it just me, myself, and I, but since you have arrived, you're the apple of my eye, girl. Open your heart and let me come inside. All this love is forever for the ride. And when that DJ played our favorite song, we dance the night away until we're heading home where we're
Welcome back, everyone, and thanks so much for tuning in tonight to We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we have Mr. Quest, as we all know him, or Roy Washington, a.k.a. Quest from Quest Nation. Thanks so much for being on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So, a lot of our listeners often ask, how can we find the music that was on your show tonight? Can you tell our listeners how to get in contact with you or how to find this music?
Oh, well, they can, imagine they could hit me up on Instagram, or the Novelist 2019 on Instagram, or on LinkedIn, Leroy Washington. That's my government name, Leroy Washington. I don't know. If you can get the information, I definitely lead them the right way. For a lot of the artists I'm gonna send you now, I'll give you a website where you can give it to them. They go right to the artist's website and get that music as well.
Awesome.
And Twitter, Smooth Novelist on Twitter.
Yeah, I can't wait till you get your stuff published. Have you looked at different avenues for getting your writing published, or, are you waiting on that?
I just seen a company on TV, maybe a couple weeks ago that seems really. I forgot the name of them, but they seems really good. So I'm gonna give them a shot. But yeah, it's time to get these novels out there because the one character I told you about, her name's Leah Westgate. That's the switch between James Bond and 007, 007 and Sherlock Holmes. I wrote 3 adventures with her, so I really want to get her out there.
That's awesome. I know a few writers, and they mostly write paranormal books and Bigfoot books and stuff like that, but I think that this label would actually probably like to carry your books as well. But I can give you the information because I haven't heard anything bad about this publisher, and a lot of them use it. I can't think of the name right now because I have all the timers, but I will get that to you later for sure, so you could check them out too.
Most definitely. Thank you.
But it's cool, these days, there's so many avenues out there for writers and so many online things and places. Like, you don't even have to print anymore. People are doing ebooks and such. And I'm not really big on technology. It took me forever just to get a cell phone. But I mean, I got this ebook one time and I read The Great Gatsby on it. And it was very cool. You could turn up the brightness, turn down the brightness. I think it was a Kindle or something like that. But it's so awesome, like how far we've come, and save the trees, read on a Kindle. I don't know.
I used to read a lot of mystery back in the day, Sherlock Holmes and the Hardy Boys and Nancy Drew and all that stuff.
Heck yeah, those are awesome. Yeah. Really good for the brain.
Right.
So right now you're working security, and I had asked you if there was activity there, and you said you haven't really experienced anything, but the cleaning ladies had. Can you fill us in on that?
No, there's I guess I don't know if it's a guy who passed away who used to be a janitor, but there's someone who walks around on the upper floors up in the towers, and you can hear like how a janitor have keys on them, and as they're walking. You can hear the keys as this person is walking through the tower. So I always turn the lights on for the cleaning people when they're here, because they're here with me on Monday night through Thursday night till 2:00, and I always turn the lights on for them. So in the tower, so they feel a little better about themselves out there. Because it's not totally pitch black up there, but it's dim when the lights are up in the tower. So I turn the lights on so it can be nice and bright for them. One of our guards was on a freight elevator here. That he was all by himself, like I am right now. He was all by himself on the freight elevator, and he heard someone cough behind him, like if somebody in the elevator with him, and somebody coughed. So that freaked him. Yes. So yeah, we have a lot of things that go on here. Like I said, I'm just blessed that I don't get bothered with too much, But you hear a lot of strange stuff. We have other things that can be debunked that adds to the spookiness of it, We have, as you can see, the other people can't see, but you see the wall of plants right there. Yeah, those things they water themselves. So anytime in the middle of the night you can hear. You hear that noise, and it kind of spooks you out if you're not prepared for it. But they water themselves. We have an elevator that if it's not on the ground floor, it'll make a loud noise like something big done jumped on into the elevator. We have a lot of spooky things that go on here.
Wow. Yeah, I was saying when I work, I do security too, and it's things like that keep it interesting. Boring job we do a lot is at the fairgrounds. We do the home and ranch show. We do all kinds of different venues that come in there, which a lot of them were canceled due to COVID. So we haven't really had a lot of work. But even I don't know, at the fairgrounds, I had something hit the side of my car, and I looked around thinking maybe my husband showed up or something and was trying to freak me out. But there was no one around, and I had turned my headlights on, and all of a sudden I see this shadow person, kind of like a football player when they're running at you at this certain stance. And he ran at my car, and right as soon as he got like close to the headlights, he just dissipated. But I'm like, holy shnikes, a shadow person down where the horses are. He'll walk around and creep out the security that stays down there for the fair, which I don't even know if we're doing that this year. It's insane, the things that are going on. But yeah, it keeps it interesting, keeps you on your toes, if you're feeling sleepy or whatnot, which my bedtime is very late anyways. But yeah, it'll keep you awake. It's interesting for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. I have to stay awake because I don't want nothing sneaking up on me. So I'm not the type that's going to go to sleep. I want to be able to see what's coming.
It's pretty interesting that you were saying your first paranormal experience was seeing all those aliens. Have you seen any UFO craft or any aliens since, or have you experienced like missing time?
No, I've experienced none of that. One of my friends, the same one that experienced those aliens with me when we were young, the summer before our senior year in high school, he experienced. Well, we were out there. We were all out. It's like about 6 or 7 of us was outside. It was just probably like maybe 10:30 at night, and he comes running from around the corner from the alley because he was on his way. He stayed a block away from us, so he was just coming over to hang out. And he said as he was walking through the alley, he seen some kind of he said it looked like a guy was sitting on the trash cans with his leg crossed, smoking a cigarette. And as he got closer to the person, the person looked like a gill man. Remember Creature from the Black Lagoon?
Yep.
So it looked like a gill man, and he had webbed feet. So he took off running and, came around and told us. So then we all charged back around there. And by the time we got there, the cigarette was still on the ground lit. But whatever it was or whoever it was we seen was gone.
That's crazy. Like, where did it go? Did you guys have any waterways or anything in the area?
Waterways?
Like ponds or lakes or streams or anything that would explain why that certain thing with webbed feet was there?
No.
Maybe he lived in the sewer.
Probably. I think it's a lot of weird stuff in the sewer. I got people stuff in the sewers that's eating and growing. I think it's a lot of weird stuff in the sewers.
Yeah, for sure. He's probably like, I gotta come up here for my cigarette or I'll blow the whole place up. Interrupted his smoke break.
Yeah, and you're talking about paranormal and talk about I know we had SOR had Dave Schrader on recently, and I know he always says that sometimes you run into people who scare you more than the paranormal scare you.
Yeah, I do believe people are scarier.
Yes, so me and my group, that same summer about 5 of us walking through an alley at nighttime, and this woman approaches us, and she's super tall. She's probably like about maybe 6'5", something like that, and she's got on a long wedding gown, and then the one that trails behind her, right? She's walking in the alley towards us, and we're walking through, and she stops us and says, "Hey guys, can you hold my purse?" And we're okay, and one of the guys holds the purse, and on the purse. She got the purse, but it's a bloody knife on there. One of those Michael Myers specials.
Holy
and it's
shnikes.
bloody, fresh blood. And she squats in front of us, hikes up that big long dress and squats in front of us and uses the bathroom in front of us. And we're 5 young men. We're just like trying to hold it in. We were ready to laugh, and we don't know how to react. So when we give her the purse back, we leave through the alley, going the direction we were going. Once we get out the alley, we bust out laughing and we're talking about it. And someone happened to look back, and now she's following us. But she's on the other side of the street. But she's following us, and she's glaring at us. And it's like, wow, what's going on? So once we said, hey, once we hit this corner right here, we're just going to take off. And that's what we did. We hit a corner, and we took off and ran for maybe 5 or 6 blocks. And it was crazy. That was one weird experience we had.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, like, was that real or was that an apparition? Do you think it really happened?
No,
So,
it's a real woman we encountered. She was real.
holy shnikes. I
Then
wonder.
why she turned around and started following us, I don't know. That's crazy, but that's what she did. So we were young then, we took off running, and young kids, we was able to get out of there, Now, if she had still been behind us after we finished running those 5 or 6 blocks, so I don't know. But yeah, we was able to get some distance.
Did she look like she belonged in the neighborhood, or
I'd never seen her before. Like I said, she was a super tall woman. I'd never seen her before. This was our neighborhood. So I don't know. I'd never seen her before.
did you hear anything after that? Like somebody had been murdered, or?
No, we didn't hear anything. Wow. So I don't know what her deal was. I don't know where she was coming from with that bloody knife. I don't know what was going on with the wedding dress. I don't know.
Did she have slurred speech or anything?
No, not that I remember. No, she seemed normal.
Wow, that's just weird. Having the knife, number one, with blood on it, and peeing right in front of you guys. Like, she didn't even try to go behind a car or anything. She's just like, right here.
Yeah, in the alley. Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of odd things happened that year, here in the city. It was crazy.
What year was that?
This was the year before my senior year in high school, so this was the summer of 1985.
Yeah, and you said a lot of
summer 1984.
A lot of crazy things happened. What else happened?
That summer we had like maybe 3 or 4 blackouts that summer, where the for 5, 6 blocks it'd just be pitch black, no street lights, just pitch black outside. And this man was coming outside whenever it was a blackout. He wore a Dracula suit, a vampire suit, and he was chasing people. And the people he caught, he bit them. And because I guess he had some fangs or something. But yeah, this guy was coming out and chasing folks, and it was crazy. 2 friends of ours, they were guys I kind of knew. They were close friends, but guys that we knew from the neighborhood. They got chased by him that one night when there was a blackout, and those boys was able to make it home. But he was pounding on their back door, and then all around the side of the house like he was trying to get in. So one of the young men called his dad, who was at work. His dad wasn't too far away. Came home, and they seen the dad pull up, ran out on the porch, and the guy was across the street at that time and started to walk back. When he seen the kids come out, he started to walk across the street towards them, but didn't notice the dad getting out of the car and turned around and walked off.
Coward. Yeah, and that's serious stuff. Like, getting bit is serious. You can get bite. Like, people have died from that. I've seen because I watch murder mysteries and forensic files and all kinds of crazy stuff. But people who have actually, like, assaulted someone got caught because they got bite, and it can actually kill you. I know he was using fake fangs or whatnot, but his saliva and the nasty ass germs in his mouth. That's crazy. Did they ever catch him?
Not to my knowledge. And I know this was just one young lady. I think she was found raped in one of the graveyards. It was a spooky graveyard. Still to this day, this graveyard is spooky. But she was found, I think, raped, but she had bite marks all over her body, and they was thinking this guy did it. But as far as I know, they'd never caught him. I really couldn't tell you for certain, but they thought that he did it.
Yeah, I have a line I use all the time. Fact is indeed stranger than fiction. Like, a lot of this stuff you can't make up.
Right.
People are crazy, cray.
Yes.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I could not imagine. Do you love it there? Like, is that where you were born and raised?
Yeah. I love it here. It's a pretty nice city. I love the fact that we don't have too many natural disasters. We're not in a place where you're going to have earthquakes or flooding, real bad flooding, or tornadoes. we get some bad thunderstorms and stuff sometime, and the wind kick up a little bit. But as far as like the big natural disasters, we don't have that.
Yeah, that's how it is here. Like, we don't get a lot of activity as far as weather. The worst we get really is either drought or monsoon season. Depending on where you live, it can be dangerous. I almost got washed away one year because we had a fire on the mountain, and then the monsoon came and washed all the dirt and burn off roots and everything, rocks down in our truck. It hit the truck as I'm getting the groceries out, and I had to hop in there and close it. And the truck kept going sideways and almost off a cliff. That was insane. But yeah, we had a small one yesterday. It was nice. I didn't want to come in for the show because it was nice, cool air, and just to smell it when it rains, just the cleansing of the earth. It was so nice. But yeah, we need a lot more of that.
I would love to I would love to do a day of storm chasing. I would love to do that. Yeah. When I see the movie Twister, I say, yeah, I'd love to just do that for one day, storm chasing. I think that would be exciting.
That would, especially if you're with a team that knows what they're doing.
Got to know what you're doing, yeah.
Yeah, I was born and partially raised in Arkansas, and then lived in Miami, Florida for a while, and then Washington State, then here in Colorado, and back and forth to Arkansas because I have family there. But yeah, tornadoes, all kinds of stuff back in Arkansas. Like, here, we don't have to deal with that stuff. Tornadoes freak me out. Even in Tennessee, we had not only one, but two in one night, and they were on each side of the town. And I had just had my daughter, I think I was 21 at the time, and we had been eating at the restaurant. My aunt kept calling us and saying, hey, it's here, it's here, it's here, it's getting closer, you guys better go home. And as soon as we pulled into the driveway, the siren went off. So I hauled ass inside and, like, with one fell swoop, got everything out of my closet and put my daughter in there. And my Aunt Sandy, who is now my aunt, she adopted me last year. She just laughed at me. She's laughing her ass off. And I'm like, it's not funny, It's not about me anymore. It's about this little being, and I got to protect it. But, yeah, she was laughing her ass off. I don't miss that stuff whatsoever.
Right. How much time we got before the next break? I was going to have this good story for you.
We have about, I would say, 20 minutes.
Oh, okay. This is one thing that happened that I always look back on. I was babysitting my oldest, but she was a baby at the time, over at my baby's mother's friend's house, and they had went to work. It was I think a Saturday or something. They had to go in for a special training or something, and so I'm babysitting the kids over there. It's early in the morning. Very early, still kind of dim out. It's not dark, but it's not light, all the way light either. It's really dim out. And one thing I used to always do back in the day, I used to always play music and dance around with the music, and like I was performing, and had to get a broom or something like I'm playing the guitar. And just get into my music, and before you know it, I'm in a total sweat from like doing it for like an hour, just playing CD after CD, these different songs, and like I'm performing, and I could hear the crowd going crazy and everything. So I'm going through. Her name was Wendy. I'm going through her collection. She got some nice music there, so I'm going. About 20 minutes in, I'm jamming and just having a good time listening to her music. Kids asleep. And I stop. I feel evil like I'd never felt it before. I feel something evil, evil presence. I stop and I look, and there's an apartment building across the alley, and somebody had been watching me, standing in the window of their apartment watching me, and it scared me because I felt evil. And so I jumped back, and I'm peeking, and that person had jumped back. And so we're doing the peeking game. We're both peeking. If I look out, and I see his head come out, then I go back. So it was a big picture window. So I said, I got to get to the other side so I can close these curtains because the drawstring was on the other side. So I bear crawl on the floor to the other side, and I closed the curtains. And like I said, I could still just feel that evil. And I'm like, what if that person comes over to this building to try to get into this apartment? And that's how I felt. But, I forgot about it after that day and everything. Then a year later, I'm working at McDonald's, and the Jeffrey Dahmer story breaks. And Jeffrey stayed in that apartment building. His window was on that side of the building.
Holy
I think
crap.
that was Jeffrey watching. Yeah, I think that was Jeffrey watching me that day, and and I was putting on a show for him. It's crazy. It's giving me chills right now. But yeah.
Yeah, I know you're looking around. Yeah, that's a delicious meal. He's like, check him out. All rotisserie
Right.
roasting. Creepy. But you like felt him before you saw him, right? And that's what made you look around?
Yeah, it made me look around. Yeah. So I looked around and standing right there watching me the whole time. I've been like about 20 minutes in, just having a good time.
Yeah, that's one thing that I tell people often is listen to your gut, like listen to your instinct. And you're talking about the soldiers and they're staring forward, but even though you're staring forward, you're aware of your surroundings through your peripherals or whatnot. But yeah, I often get that feeling too, like somebody's staring at me, and so I'll look, and more times than not, somebody is staring at you. It's when you're alone that it's really, really creepy. Like, who the hell could that be? And like you said, freaking Dahmer across the way, planning his next meal. Holy shit.
Right. Like I said, we didn't know about him then, but it really a year later it exploded on the scene. This is probably not too.
That's insane. Like, could you imagine going through that? I can imagine. Mooney says, did they taste like Chinese food?
Chinese food.
Yeah, Moon said, did they taste like Chinese food? I don't know. I think he had one Oriental guy. Most of them were white guys. But they're...
that was the guy that escaped, right? But he had his brother too, right?
I don't know.
I know. Something like that. Syphilis Simone or whatever his name was.
Yep. Oy. Can't imagine being that guy. Even though you escaped, you have to live with that forever.
Yes.
Jason in the chat room. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Go ahead. What's up with Jason?
He was wondering how much of the paranormal and cryptids are tulpas. Putting a lot of thought into skinwalkers and dogmen could fit. A lot of people will hear a story or lore or whatnot. I'm trying to think of the name for it. I can't think of it right now. But where they tell a story like Slender Man or Bloody Mary or different things like that, if enough people talk about it. Yeah, urban legends. If enough people talk about it and believe in it, supposedly it'll create it because the mind is such a powerful thing. What are your thoughts on that?
I think so. I remember the Bloody Mary thing. I remember we were scared to death of that. And I was at school, grade school, and it took a lot of courage for me to go home that day and turn out the light, stand in the bathroom, and I think you had to repeat her name 3 times or something, and she was going to appear. But it scared the daylights out of me. Nothing happened, but it was really scary.
You did it alone. I heard number 1 rule: you're not supposed to do it alone. And that's just like with the Ouija board.
I thought it was doing it alone. Oh, I'm not bothering the Ouija board. My radio co-host, Miss Deborah Gillespie, she had a crazy situation with the Ouija board. She said they was playing with the Ouija board, and one day while they was playing with it, the piece started moving by itself, and nobody was touching it at all. Nobody had their hands near it, and the piece was moving around the board by itself.
Yeah, I think whoever created that was genius as far as marketing it to young children and saying, this is just a parlor game, It's not.
Yeah.
It's very serious, but you can get it in different colors. You can even get a pink one if you want. But it's insane.
I don't want no.
Huh?
I don't want no color.
Yeah, I don't want none of that. I've seen awesome like coffee tables, and I like different things like that away from me. Like if you're into that, that's cool, and that's a really nice table, but I used it twice in the same night, and it was actually during Hurricane Bonnie. I was in MRP at the time, and it had come from this kid who was known as Private Black. He actually died in exercises. He was laid out in the prone position, and a tank ran over him. So the male and female platoon of MRP were passing it back and forth and using it. And I wasn't raised LDS, but at the age of 7, I got baptized. And then I think at 13, I quit going. And then I was kind of in and out until about, I don't know, till my later years in and out of the church. But my aunt always taught us no playing D&D, which I admit I love playing D&D. It's just using your imagination and role playing. And no Ouija boards. So I'm watching the girls playing this Ouija board, and they're like, come on, Tess, try it. And so I finally relented, and I was like, okay, I'll try it. Can I talk to my mom? And my mom had been killed by a drunk driver when I was 5, almost 6. And so I figured if I wanted to talk to anybody, that'd be her. And I get on there, and I'm like, hey, can I talk to my mom? And it goes directly to no. And so I was like, fuck you then. I'm going to go take a shower, and I'll be back. And I come back, all the girls are gone, and the Ouija board is there on my rack. And so I put my stuff away, and I'm just looking at it and thinking about it. And I didn't know the number 1 rule: don't do it alone. So I get on there, and immediately it just starts moving, by itself, and it starts naming off my siblings. Tell Gary, Kathy, Greg, John, your dad, I'm okay, everything's okay, so on and so forth. And, it's just going faster and faster and faster. And we had a lengthy conversation, and I saw no problem with it, except for later on I found out the girls in my platoon were like nudging me, shaking me, calling my name, trying to get me off of it or get my attention. But I was just, I guess, enthralled, and I didn't hear them or feel them. Right. And after that, about a week later, was my first sleep paralysis. I've only had it twice, but that's enough for me. But yeah, I wonder if it goes hand in hand. But the next day I called my dad. I was excited, gave him the message, and he totally shit on my parade. He said, that probably wasn't your mom. That was probably something else trying to trick you. But there's so many facts and so many things that it said that I believe it was my mom, but I've never tried it again. My mentor, Kat, was like, hey, I'm going to use the Ouija board today. And she used it like a cell phone, like, hey, what's up, Dad? She's like, you want to come over and do the Ouija board? You want to come over and have a seance? I'm like, no, I'm all good, but I'll film it. And so I never did it, but that stuff is scary.
That's crazy stuff there.
I just heard so many crazy experiences from people, and even seen like video of people getting possessed using these things. And, with a little kid, it's perfect. They don't close it out because they get scared and they run off screaming. So that leaves that doorway open for whatever to come through. I think if you used it properly, just like dowsing rods or anything else, because a lot of people say it's the same thing, then okay. But yeah, not my parade.
Yeah. Have you ever heard of someone who was demonically possessed?
I've been possessed a few times. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think they were demonic, because I think something like that holds on. I think one of them was really pissed off at me because I went just up the road and did a cleansing for this girl. She said she's about to have a baby. She wants her house cleansed. Can you come help? And everybody else during the week was working, and I wasn't. So I went up there, pulled up. Generally, when I pull up to a place, I get immediate feelings of what's going on in there. I wasn't picking up anything. And it's in the back of this church, which is a Catholic church. Go in, show her the kit, show her how to use it. I saged her house. I did nothing protective before or after. The only thing I had was tourmaline and selenite in my pocket.
Okay.
I didn't sage myself afterwards because I was in smoke the whole time. So I figured, why do that? Until later on. As soon as I took off my day clothes with the rocks that protect me in the pocket and put on my pajamas, about 30 minutes later, my husband said my facial structure changed, my voice changed, I broke my $3,000 camera, all kinds of crazy stuff happened, all kinds of crazy things were said. I wake up behind the wheel of my car, no clothes on, heading towards the reservation, and I'm like, where the hell am I? What the hell's going on? I need to get home. So I turn around, go back home, hoping not to get pulled over. stark ass naked. And I get there, everybody's locked in the master bedroom, so I put my pajamas back on, lay down and watch TV and go to sleep. And the next day my husband comes out and he's not pissed off. He's genuinely concerned, and he's like, "Are you okay? Like, I know that wasn't you. That was really freaky." And the only thing I can attribute it to was whatever was in that house was pissed off that I helped her, and it followed me home and taught me a lesson. The lesson I learned: don't go alone. and protect yourself no matter what you feel or pick up on, because things can be deceitful or deceiving and make you think they're not there when they really are, and it's hard to pick up on everything.
Oh, it's a crazy story.
But I don't think it was demonic. I think it was an ugly entity that was very pissed.
Oh, okay.
But I could be
I heard
wrong.
What'd you say?
I said I could be wrong. I don't know.
I heard a cassette tape of a demonically possessed woman that just scared me to death. My friend, him and his mom used to go to church every Sunday, and she would record. Remember the old time square tape players? Yeah, she record the service. I guess so. Then when she come home and she's cooking Sunday dinner, she play back the service. So this one day, she taking her recorder, she caught the demonic woman on tape, and they let me hear it. It was scary. I mean, you could hear the church, they're singing, everybody's singing and clapping and everything, and all of a sudden you hear it was like a real deep guttural thing, and then you hear some people screaming, and then you hear some people like saying in Jesus' name, and but some people were panicking and screaming, and it was like chaos, and you hear her just laughing and growling and stuff. And that little tape thing kept the lights on for me in bed for a couple months. It was that scary. Yeah. Yes. Hmm. Right. Lights out after that. Okay.
Yeah, it's funny. That's how my mom raised us, basically, was watching scary movies on the weekends with the family, and paranormal was just normal to us. So yeah, I kind of find comfort in watching paranormal shows. And I found a trick: if you turn the light down really low, it tricks your eyes into getting tired because you're trying to focus so hard that it causes you to go to sleep.
Oh, okay. Well, I like the lights on bright, especially if I'm by myself. I just was talking to my daughter. I have two daughters, and my youngest one, she's around 15. I finally got her to admit something because I had this one apartment she used to come visit, and when I would would eat in the living room, she always wanted to sit. The way my apartment was, it was a kind of a long hallway that went to my main bedroom, and she used to always want to sit, but she couldn't see down that hallway, and she never admitted it until like last week that she felt a presence in that apartment. That there was something there, but I'd never felt it, and it never bothered me. But when she was there, she was young at the time. She was probably about 7, 8 years old. They say kids can see things as well as animals. She was feeling something and probably seeing something when she was sitting where she could see down the hallway. So finally got her to admit it.
What did she say she saw?
She said, she said she didn't see anything, but she said she felt a presence. She felt something was in the apartment. She could feel it. So I mean, maybe she's sensitive.
Mhm.
But yeah, she could feel it. So I guess feeling it, she didn't want to be in a position where she could see anything. So I guess, but yeah, she finally admitted that she felt something and she knew something was in there.
I told the group, I hope I wasn't muted too long, and Mooney, being the smart ass he is, he's like 13 minutes, and he's like, oh, just a sentence or so. So luckily I picked up on it soon enough, because I was muted for a second. But yeah, you do pick up on those different things, you know. When my husband was working security in Rico, I had to move my chair because it used to be where I could see down the hallway, but I kept feeling something standing there staring at me. So I moved it forward to where the wall was in the way, and I didn't get that feeling anymore. But what you were saying kind of reminds me of Bill and Jody. They were kind of my adopted parents when I was 15 or 16, and I felt like I didn't have anybody. They were there, and I'd go over to their house, and I just kept looking at the hallway, and eventually Jody's like, what do you keep looking at over there? At first I didn't see anything, but then I saw a boy, and he was quite tall. He was probably about 5'9" or 6 foot tall, and you couldn't see his face because he'd stay right out of the light just enough to where you couldn't see his features. But I could see how tall he was, and he was wearing a basketball jersey, and he'd just stand there at the end of the hallway and stare at us. And when I told her about that, she kind of flipped out because she's like, I knew there was something there. She couldn't pick up on what it was, but at first you could only sense it, but then I could see it. It was pretty interesting. Makes you wonder, like, what keeps them there? Is it religious belief? Is it something else? Is it the not knowing you're dead? And how long does it take before you know you're dead? These are questions I wonder about.
Yeah, like you remember the movie The Sixth Sense?
Yes.
You know, that was the ending totally shocked me. I'm like, wow. The ending when you found out he was really dead, you just thought, people just was kind of ignoring him or whatever. The way they did it was really clever. But maybe that's the way it is in real life, though.
Yeah, his psychologist was dead the whole time. And you're wondering, is he fighting with his wife because, he's working all the time? But she just doesn't know he's there because he's dead.
Right. Yeah, so that's creepy, So maybe take somebody to let them know and usher them into the light,
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how to do that. I know how to cleanse, but I do know people that are able to do that. That'd be something that I'd like to learn, I think. But yeah, like you were saying earlier, as far as demonic stuff, anytime they call us, because I have a group, Four Corners Paranormal Investigations, that I started in 2012.
Okay.
When I decided to come out of the paranormal closet because I just wanted to help and didn't care anymore, we'll go for a preliminary. If it's demonic, we'll pass it on. But like Jason was saying with tulpas, even with schizophrenia or any other sort of mental thing going on, we give advice to people. This one particular woman, like her husband was being attacked. Different things were happening in the house, and it was all due to the trauma she received as a kid and all the feelings that she never dealt with. And so it was kind of like a poltergeist. Even though she was older, she had the mentality of a 13-year-old. They call us later and say, now we got even more spirits here and we're being harassed. Well, did you go see the psychologist? No. Well, there's nothing we can do to help you. Like, unless you take the advice, we can't help you, If we help you do it and we help you, then we'll come back and try something else. But yeah, if you don't take the advice, like, that's on you.
Oh.
That's weird how poltergeists work.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, they totally thought it was demonic, but it really centralized around her.
Okay. Yeah. We had I tell people about this one, probably the scariest woman I ever seen. Growing up in church, we had this one woman. She's scary looking. She was so dark to where her eyes glowed, and she used to come to church maybe 2 or 3 Sundays in a row. Then you wouldn't see her for 5-6 months, and she'd come back. That was her pattern, And she would jump up in the middle of the service and just I've heard people speak in tongues before, but she just what she was be speaking would be just something crazy, and it would just and just disrupt the service. And she was very, very scary. I used to sit close to my dad when she used to come be there, and she'd sit on the front row. So one day she came with her daughter. Her daughter looked to be about maybe 15 years old. And you could tell her daughter was special. So they're sitting there, and the preacher's about to start preaching. And once he started, she and her daughter started tongue kissing, deep tongue kissing, making out. And the whole church was just frozen. I just never forget that. And I think that's probably the last time I seen her come to the church. But this woman was something else. Never forget her.
Did they try to do any investigating as far as are they possessed, or, because that sounds pretty demonic.
Yeah, it do. But I grew up in a Baptist church, and they never really did that kind of things. Now the churches I've been to, since I've been grown, like you have the sanctified churches and everything. They'll come down, they'll lay hands, or they'll start praying right away. But I don't remember the pastor and them ever. They just looked. Nobody never started praying or trying to cast anything out. So that was just weird. She would just come and disrupt the service. Like I said, wouldn't see her for a long time, and she'd come back for maybe a couple Sundays in a row. But yeah, very, very crazy. Very weird.
Very not cool. It makes me wonder, so they didn't even make them leave? Like, everybody just kind of froze and didn't know what to do, or?
Yeah, she'd do her little thing, and then she'd, sit back down and be normal, and finish. And I've heard her talk, to other ladies and stuff like that. And everybody's talking after the service and everything. She talked like a regular person. Sound like she was pretty nice, but she just that's what she did when she came to the church. And she'd jump up and do that little spiel, and after a minute or so, she'd sit down and it'll be regular. So that's just weird. Like we were talking about crazy people, crazy situations, things you've seen in this lifetime. That's just something weird, And so she gave me a lot of nightmares because she just looked so crazy, looked so evil.
Yeah,
but she probably was a nice person, but that was just really weird what she did, and what she did with her daughter that day. This was crazy.
Does not make a lick of sense to me.
No, it don't.
Well, and especially like you're saying, like she'd come a couple weeks and then she'd be gone for 5 or 6 months and then she'd come back. It feels like perhaps she was trying to fight something, and for the most part she didn't feel like she could get out, but occasionally she felt like she could, hoping for help. But man, yeah, poor lady.
Right.
Could be mental illness, could be demonic. It's hard to say.
Yeah, poor lady, poor Mia. She gave me plenty of nightmares.
Yeah, and poor daughter.
Yes.
Makes you wonder.
So I would. Makes you wonder.
Well, on that note, we're going to go to our second musical break, and it's with Nonya Toria with Monyaye. Yes. And then Prime Example with Power Play, Nonya Toria with Yanga, and Prime Example with Dancing Machine featuring Carolyn Giles. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this musical break.
Nonye Monjage Orimbi Monjage Orimbi Monjage Orimbi Monjage Orimbi Monjage Orimbi Monjage Orimbi. Some do good just for the doing, see everything just for the seeing, don't even care what you're receiving, through all the heights just for wanna have me, just get ready. Now wait, sin Nasabi, I did tell you all my how life is. Now so show love with your heart and show love with your soul. Monjage Orimbi, 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 Monjage Orimbi. Some people help just for the helping. Few people love just for true loving. Give everything just for the giving. Don't even care what you be receiving. I be fine, fine, fine lady. I don't wanna be your baby. All I wanna do is get crazy. Wanna have me, just get ready. Now wait, sin Nasabi, I did tell you all my how life is. Now so show love with your heart and show love with your soul. Monjage Orimbi, 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 Monjage Orimbi. Swag beats, funky, yeah, yeah, yeah. No, 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 no.
Once upon a lifetime was a man in the hood, tricked, misguided, and misunderstood. Till one day he cried out, Lord, save me, teach me the lessons of life, won't you raise me? Because I tried everything under my hat, and I found all my plans were tears standing right. I need a hero, a real life camaraderie, to step in to see me and deliver a power play. Something to raise my head from the dust is the must. I find someone in whom I can trust. I must grow in knowledge, live what I learn. I'm so glad to meet you, yo, my name is Vern. Lead me any way that you're willing and I'll share. I need your power play. Yeah, here comes another one. It's so good to be clothed in your right mind. Dreams to the front and all past behind. Memories of things you did so absurd. Came to the curb, now learns the word. Cause often we're low down, problems can grind us. But with power from God, yeah, we all stay victorious. Listen to the seed, the knowledge and digest the rhythm. Because a trooper like Jay keeps it righteous. And express a prime example of a vocalist, adjust your bubble. Leroy D is like dangerous trouble. Trouble if you want it, peace if you with it. Never before known of a man who can stand it, but so irrelevant. So kick it in if you will, Lord. And I'll shield. I need your power play. Yeah. Here comes another one. Powerful in knowledge, and now you're non-guessing. When power meets the darkness, the devil's got you go. That's my Weasel, and now he's going loco. If you got a problem, God can solve it. Power from the churro, and you're in his outfit. Why must the fit stay dirty so filthy? Get off your rear and whitewash the pickings. Power for cleansing, power for sanitizing, power for us, power for the rising of the sun. Cause in your darkest hour you can look up and express to feel the power up. I need your power play. Yeah. Comes another one.
Show me your younger, show me your younger, eh. Show me your younger, eh. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
None, yeah.
I love music, Niger music, Niger, yeah. They grew everywhere, yeah. I love music, Niger music, Niger, yeah. They grew everywhere, yeah. Show me your younger, show me your younger, show me your younger, yeah. Show me your younger, show me your younger, show me your younger, yeah. Oh yeah, come, let's wind it down. Night the people dance to the sound. Show me your younger, let's hit the town. Let's thank Almighty God that it's Friday. The way you're shaking your waist, don't stop till you dance all day. With a groove, the Niger way. If you like to Atlanta, take it better. Niger music is alive, eh? We got the hottest music out there. Even start from today, we'll be hitting it from Monday to Sunday. Everybody get ready, it's time for us to get steady. Everywhere we go, Niger music now number one. Niger music, Niger, yeah. They grew everywhere, yeah. I love music, Niger music, Niger, yeah. They grew everywhere, yeah. Show me your younger, show me your younger, show me your younger, show me your younger, yeah. Show me your younger, show me your younger, show me your younger, yeah. Been around the world, seen a lot of faces, seen a lot of places, but nowhere like Niger, yeah. You gotta stand up for what you believe, that's where you can achieve. Whether you tall or short, slim or fat, hey, now you're Palaban. I beg throw away your face, bad they let people come throw away your face. It don't really matter cause we're all in the race. That's all we can be till we all meet the Niger. I love music, Niger music, Niger, yeah. They grew everywhere, yeah. I love music, Niger music, Niger, yeah.
if that's your thing. We'll be partners in crime, you and me, as we ripping up floors like two dancing machines.
Welcome back, and thanks so much for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. Tonight we're joined by Roy Washington, a.k.a. Quest Nation. Welcome back. Thanks so much for hanging out with us tonight and sharing your stories.
Thank you very much. Having a good time.
So there's so many bases I want to touch on, but first of all, I would like to take a moment of silence for Mr. George Floyd. And the life that was lost there, it was really uncalled for, so I would really like to take a moment of silence for him.
Okay.
Thanks, everybody, for partaking in a moment of silence for Mr. George Floyd. I really appreciate it. And thank you to everybody out there that is, out there peacefully protesting and actually putting the word out there and a good face on it, I know there's a lot of angry people and people lash out in different ways, but, getting the message across, you have to do it in a certain way, and the way a lot of people are doing it is not correct. It's actually hurting us instead of helping us. But, I really pray that Mr. Floyd finds peace and that, this will be something of the past someday. Like I said, seems like we get so far and then we're just kicked back again.
Yes.
But thank you so much, you guys, for partaking in that moment of silence. And Roy, if you have anything to add to that, feel free to.
Like I said, that's piggybacking off of you, just thanking everyone who's out there responsibly protesting. And, you got some people out there have their own agenda, looting and all that, and setting things on fire. But that's unnecessary, and that kind of goes against the message we're trying to get out there. So it's sad that you have people out there doing that kind of thing.
Yeah, instead of sending the right message, they're sending the wrong message, and it's really not helping anything. So hopefully everybody will get on the same page, and hopefully we find justice for Mr. Floyd, because it's a very sad thing. Very sad for any life to be lost. And right now we're focused on him. I don't know if it's I think because everybody's been out of work and everybody's angry already, I don't know. There's different ways to lash out, and I think, we're all human, we all make mistakes, but hopefully we'll get on the same page and we'll actually make a difference, and I'm hoping for that, because we really need it. We've had some... Go ahead.
Okay, well, we've had a lot of rioting here, and right now we're under curfew from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning, so that's what happened here.
Yeah, it's been crazy because here, like I said, our community is very diverse. We have people that are peacefully protesting. We haven't had any rioting, anything like that. And people automatically say people are rioting. No, rioting is when they're burning things, breaking into buildings, doing things that don't make sense. Peacefully protesting, totally different thing. But yeah, hopefully we'll get on the same page. We'll get the message across. Something's got to change, you know. Things have been going on for too long, and it's really ridiculous, but
Yeah.
keeping my fingers, hairs, toes, and eyes crossed. As far as music goes, this last break we had Power Play as well as Dancing Machine. Can you tell us the inspirations behind these songs?
Well, Dancing Machine, that was, like I said, was featuring my guy Jay's wife, Carolyn Giles. Um, and that was just like a little fun song, just talking about getting out partying, having a good time. You've done worked all week, and you want to relax and unwind. Power Play is more of a spiritual song that I did, and we did that in 2006, and inspiration was 2006 as well. Just telling the story of a man who had hit rock bottom, and wanted a second chance of a life, second chance of accomplishing his dreams and making a difference. So he had to look up and clean himself up, and so that's basically the story of Power Play. Just you can get to your lowest point, but don't ever think that you can't turn things around. You can always seek forgiveness and seek to find the right path. It's not over till they say the fat lady sings. It's not over until it's over. As long as you got time on this earth, you got time to turn things around and to make things right. So that's the message of Power Play.
And it's very true, and it's awesome, not only the way that your lyrics touch on that, but the way the music does. And that's when you really know that you have a good song. Not only do the lyrics touch you, but the music does. It seems to just mesh, and I think you guys did a really good job with that.
Thank you. Shout out to Jay.
Yeah, shout out to Jay. Also, if you ever want to add somebody, if you ever come on again, feel free to bring a friend. I can call several different people on Skype. As far as receiving calls anymore, Skype decided to fix something that wasn't broken, and now our system's all jacked up again. But it's always awesome to have different layers and different stories, and it'd be awesome to hear the background of all your guys' combined experiences and such. But yeah, I'm very appreciative of your music.
Yeah, I'll bring a couple more people on that time. Yeah, thank you very much. Because a lot of those guys have great stories to tell as well. So when you live, you experience things. You have a lot of great stories. Like one of my young artists, Nonchalant, because I don't know if you have any Nonchalant music.
I don't. I want some.
He's very young, and he just got out of the military a couple years ago and talked about how he was in Kentucky hanging out with skinheads and people from the Klan, and they just seen him as being a nice, genuine person, and he was over there for dinner. I'm like, wow. Yeah, so it's crazy some of the things you experience in life. Sitting at a Klan member's house having dinner and just nothing but respectful conversation with that person.
Yeah, and people are different. You categorize everybody as the same thing, and people use the N-word. And I've often said, I know niggers of different colors, like my little brother. He is one. Mm-hmm. Just because you're black doesn't mean you're that. Like my brothers, when I went to see them in Los Angeles, my brother John and my brother Kevin that just recently passed away a couple weeks ago, I was trying to be polite, and we're hanging out and drinking and everything, and I'm like, yeah, and I'm glad I got to here to hang out with, and then I kind of pause, and I'm like, my African-American brothers, and they're like, what are you talking about? What are you niggas? So, people use it in different terminology, but like I said, there's different people, there's good people, there's bad people, but they're of all different colors, and people have different variations of the meaning of certain words, and people use it different ways. Some use it friendly, some use it negatively. Like even people, I know of a shooter in the past that used the Bible and such as a tool for the KKK. The Bible is used for so many good things, but so many people put it in a different stream where it doesn't make sense to all of us, but I don't know. What do we do, Roy?
Like when you start talking about, Dr. King said you got to look at the content of a person's character. That N word, it could be anyone, like you said. Because I think it's a word describing somebody who's like an idiot and just the
Takes
word
advantage.
escaping me now, but somebody.
Yeah, they take advantage, steal, loaf.
Yeah, one day during my senior year, coming home on the bus, me and my girlfriend at the time, first love, we were sitting on the bus and reading the Bible. So the bus is packed. There's a lot, and a lot of our peers from the school, they're in the back. Somebody got a boom box going. Somebody they smoking, cussing, loud music and everything. We're riding and we get to the downtown Milwaukee, Wisconsin Avenue, which is one of the busy streets in downtown, and we're getting off the bus, getting ready to get off, and this old white man taps me and says, "You know what? I was sitting here on this bus about to judge a certain group of people, and then I look over and I see you two read the Bible, and I will never forget that that he told me that, and basically the saying that everybody, you just can't judge the whole group on a few, and he looked and seen what we were doing and had respect for that, and that meant a lot to me,
Yes, the little things, just you guys spending that time together, which is really good time on the bus, reading the Bible. I mean, I can't say enough how healing it is. I've read scriptures in the past, and it really does help, especially at really hard times, or even, just spending quality time together reading the scriptures. But that's awesome that you were able to help him see something different. He's expecting a certain experience, and you guys provided something totally he never expected.
Right. So that was cool. That was cool, this situation there.
Heck yeah. Like, high five.
Yeah.
No.
Virtual 5, yeah.
Yeah. It's just awesome how we can touch different people's lives. And you guys, I don't know, how did that change his life? I could see so many different things opening up for him due to that experience. But I really commend you guys on that for sure.
Yeah.
And it's, speaking of music, it's funny how you guys went into music and you had this certain perspective, and then you opened up to Christian music. That is one of the biggest platforms of music you could really go from. There's so many people that look for that spiritual healing through music. So it's pretty cool that you guys got into that. And, just having a message. A lot of people these days with a lot of music, you hear just repetitive stuff and it really doesn't mean anything. But I think you got something really good going on. And I'm glad you're propelling people in the musical industry, helping to share that.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we like I said, we did a lot, especially on the gospel circuit, filling out cathedrals and performing and everything. And so it was good, but we also had our struggles too, because at that time, you have the traditional gospel people who felt like rap music didn't belong, in gospel music. So if you didn't have the old tambourine with the organ thing going on, it wasn't of God and everything. So we had our doubters, but just had to live what we were singing about and everything. And we had still do have a really big fan base. We called ourselves Forgiven once we turned gospel, and like I said, I have a lot of memories from doing it. So I'm very happy. Very happy I bumped into Tony in the military.
I was going to ask about him. Have you guys stayed in touch?
No, I've looked for him. I can't find him. No, I've looked for him. I will continue to. Hope he's doing well. Uh, I imagine he's probably. I don't know if he's put his own music out, but I imagine he's probably on somebody's CD or something. You probably see his name on something. So I wouldn't be surprised. He was very, very talented.
Are you on Facebook?
Yes, Roy Washington on Facebook.
Okay. I was just wondering because a lot of our platoon mates found each other through Facebook, and then we have our own little page, Platoon 2014 or whatever. But it's really cool how you find people. There's so many people that I would not have found due to Facebook, and that's another thing I did not want to do. But I was working at the casino, and they're like, hey, we want you to go onto Facebook and like our page. So I had to make a profile, and it was all up and downhill from there. But I'm really grateful for it because even though I didn't want it, just like my cell phone, I didn't want a cell phone, it really has come in handy. Like, I found so many people I would have never found. So I'm really grateful for it. There's the good and bad with everything, but mostly I have good. You can block the bad.
You didn't want a cell phone.
Oh, I just liked being free and not tied down to people contacted me all the time. Like, getting away from the house was getting away from everything. But once I got one, I liked it after a while. But yeah, I just didn't like that cell phone thing. I think it was 2005 before I had a cell phone.
Okay. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, so you got an up-to-date cell phone now, right?
Yeah, I have an iPhone. The screen broke, so I replaced it, and it's kind of wonky at times, but I think I just got to get back in there and check the connections and do it again.
Okay.
But yeah, I got a good iPhone. I got an Umi Digi, which I used for my Periscope phone, but my daughter has taken it hostage, so my 16-year-old has it. Yeah, it's important to have good ones. I don't have a Droid anymore. iPhones, I wasn't really into those either. My husband had one, and I did not know how to use it. If you have an Android, you do not know how to use an iPhone, but...
Yeah, I have an Android. I'm an Android man.
There's so many things you can do. Your email, everything. Everything is there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm a networker, so I'm on my phone all the time. Yeah.
I was really bad on it, and then I decided to take a break. So during the days, I won't get on it, and at the end of the night, I'll check my messages and do my posts and stuff like that. Or at the beginning of the day. Throughout the day, I try to spend that with my kids and only use my cell phone for music or YouTube if I'm watching videos. But yeah, I try not to be a slave to technology. But it's really hard. At one point I was on there all the time, and I was really doing good as far as, like you were saying, marketing and doing all these other things you need to for your page. But yeah.
Okay.
Keep it on the charger.
Right.
So you're talking about some of your paranormal experiences. A devil dog, and what was the other one? A nun or something?
Witch. They were together. Matter of fact, this was that was my first ever job I had, and I was getting up early, going to my he was the choir director of our choir, but he was pretty good friend, older, maybe 3 or 4 years older than me, and we were going had a little janitorial job at one of the big high schools, my first ever job. So got off the bus, heading to his house, walking down the street. Get to this one corner, and I'm about to turn down the corner, but from a block, they were a block away. I could see this woman coming towards me. They're like a block away with a dog. And, you get that little feeling in your gut. I said, something's wrong here. So I kept on across the street, and there was the street is just layered with big trees. I got behind a big tree, and as they came down, they got closer. This was a witch. She was dressed like one at least, and with the black hat, had the black gown or whatever, and it seemed as if she was gliding. She didn't have no bounce in her steps. She seemed like she was gliding. And this dog was huge, probably about the size of a Great Dane or a Greyhound. Those are tall dogs. But he was very muscular, like maybe a pit or something. Very muscular and thick with that height. And it seemed like he had a red glow coming out of his mouth. And they just went on past. I'm across the street behind a tree watching, and they just went on past, and she's just gliding, had like a big chain or something around his neck. And it was a very, very scary scene. So once they turned and went the way that I originally came, I booked it and ran the 2 blocks that I had left to get to my friend's house.
That is scary.
Yes.
I've never personally seen a hellhound. The closest thing I saw to it was 2012, trying to figure out what exactly happened to Dylan. We all had our suspicions, but we were investigating. So we went to the house in which we found out he was murdered in, and there was this dog figure going back and forth in the windows like really fast, and it was not on all fours. It was on its back hind legs, and you could just see it running back and forth. And the closest thing that I could attribute it to was like Anubis, the way the ears were really pointy and upright, but they weren't as long. My friend Glow and my mentor Kat, they went across the cattle guard and into the yard, and they're like, come on, what are you guys doing? Me and Sadie are on the other side, and we're just sitting there staring at the house. We're both seeing the same thing. They're like, come on, we only have so much time. And we're like, we can't. There's somebody in there. It looked like the TV was on in the background. Later that night, coming home, my roommate Brian said he saw a black dog, very large black dog thing chasing my truck into the driveway. He didn't tell me this until about 2 months later. I'm like, Brian, dude, we got to work on your timing. Like, I needed to know this right away.
Chasing your truck.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. This thing, like I said, this thing was huge. That was a very scary scene for me. So I'm glad I didn't walk past them. I was hid until they went by. You know. And she, like I said, she didn't have no kind of bounce or step, like she was just gliding, like she was on wheels or something. It was crazy.
That's like the first apparition I saw. She was 2 inches off the ground. You could hear her footsteps, but when she went past the doorway, she stopped and then continued, but it wasn't walking like you said. It was like gliding. Right.
Yeah, this is exactly what this, like I said, it looked like a witch to me. This, with all black and everything, and very scary features. Yeah, a lot of weird stuff that happened. Even the almost getting abducted. That was very scary. But I always say that was my fault. And so I would tell kids really talk to your parents. I was during my senior year in high school. They used to get bus passes when you was in school. You get on the bus?
No, we were in a pretty small town.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we got bus passes. Got a new bus pass every week to go to school for that week. Get on the bus. I lost my bus pass probably like a Monday or something. I had that whole week to go, and I didn't want to. I know my dad was going to chew me out, so I didn't want to tell him. So me being a genius, I said, you know what? I just get up extra early, get dressed, and walk to school. A few miles. So I'm up at like maybe 4 in the morning, leaving out the house at 4 something in the morning. It's dark outside, and I'm walking to school. So I made it like the first 2 days. Got to school, and it's still dark outside. And I found somewhere to chill out until it lit up, and people came out. Whatever. But the third day, which was like a Thursday, I'm walking. I kind of took the same route every day. I'm walking, and I get to Water Street. That's downtown Milwaukee, like one of the big main streets. And I'm walking down there, and this white guy pull up in a blue Chevy, and he has a camouflage jacket on, like an army camouflage jacket, and he's like hey, young man, you want to ride? I said, no, I'm fine. He said, no, it's okay. Jump in. I'll give you a ride. I said, no, I'm good. Thank you. So if looks could kill, the way he glared at me, and I'd have been dead if looks could kill. So he peels off, turns the corner. Then maybe a minute, 2 minutes later, another car pull up, kind of blue Chevy. This is kind of the same car, but this time it's a black man. And he's got the same kind of camouflage jacket on. He didn't say anything to me, but he just riding and along the pace that I'm walking, and he's watching me, maybe sizing me up. Then he just takes off and hits a corner. So then that's when something inside me says, you know what, you need to run right now. You need to get out of there right now. So I ran across the busy street. There was some kind of factory over there on the other side that had like a dockyard and had a whole bunch of pallets, a lot of pallets, stacks of pallets. And I got behind one of those stacks of the pallets, and then that car pulled back around. And then it's like they just peeled off like they was looking for me. Like, where did he go? And you could hear them just tearing up and down the streets looking for me. And I believe that third time, it wasn't going to be no asking or anything. It was going to, they was going to try to get me. And I stayed hid behind those pallets for maybe 25 something minutes or something till it started to light up a little bit. You start to see a bus here, trucks and stuff here and there coming. Then the city kind of woke up. Then that's when I finished walking, and I think I got a bus pass or something, or somebody the next day, a bus ticket or something. But that taught me a big lesson. I could have been in the river somewhere, and parents would have known what happened, So yeah, that was a scary situation, and I'm glad I listened to my gut when it said, "You better take off right now."
That is so scary, and I'm glad you listened to your gut and you weren't taken, because who knows what would have happened.
Right. And like I said, this was not long after the stuff was happening in Atlanta with the Atlanta child murder, so that was a creepy situation there.
Wasn't that the same time as the America's Most Wanted? His son went missing. I remember I was living in Miami at the time, and I was not old enough to be roller skating all over the place, but I was. But I remember looking over my shoulder and just feeling like somebody was going to take me at any moment. Those were really scary times. And we wonder, because we hear about so many different cases today, is it because of the internet? Or is it just really rampant now? I think it's always been around, but now we all know about everybody's stuff. Generally, it's in local papers, but now it's online. Anybody can see it.
Yeah, I think, yeah, we've always had that kind of evil here in the world and everything, but now, just like you say, it's because you can read about it very quickly now. Something can happen 1 minute, and the next minute, somebody on the other side of the world is reading about it. So we have information. We have access to information real quickly now. You don't have to wait for the paper, for the journal to find out what happened in California or whatever. You don't even have to wait for the news. It happened right on the phone. So yeah, the evil's been out. Talking about serial killers and things like that. We've been had serial killers and everything, but we just have the access to get to that information now more quickly than we had before.
Yeah, I only smiled because I was thinking, yep, you were almost a Dahmer Happy Meal. Which is not funny, but it is now because you escaped and you weren't. But yeah, I just kind of have to laugh. I have a sick sense of humor.
And then what's really creepy about that, I was always in that area because we were always going over there to watch pay-per-views and the wrestling pay-per-views and everything. And so I was always walking by that building and stuff. But he could have got me this on some. I'm a very helpful person. He could have got me or had a story like, "Hey, I'm trying to move a couch or whatever. Can you give me a hand or something?" And I may have went in there just to do something like that. And then all of a sudden, I'm a victim or whatever. So that's creepy knowing that you've been walking by that building and stuff for so long, and there was a monster like that living there.
Yeah, it makes you wonder, how long was he watching you? You try to think back. Did I ever pick up on that before and I just didn't see where it was coming from? Who knows how long
Yeah.
you were on the menu?
Yeah, so I'm glad it worked out that I'm still here and still alive and alive and well.
So,
But yeah,
I was reading earlier you have your own show. Is it called Quest Nation? Do you call it something else? What is your show called?
it's Quest Nation. Yeah, I have it on Spreaker. Yeah. So like I said, we do some paranormal shows. We spotlight a lot of indie artists, like you already know. I talk to a lot of people. Talk to professors. I talk to book authors. We do a lot. Just real positive programming. That's what we do.
Try to keep
had
it
you on there.
positive. Yeah, I was
Yeah,
on there
had you-
once. I'm
So,
supposed to be on there
yeah.
this next week, aren't I?
Yes. Coming back. Yeah.
The 5th.
I'm happy.
It's a full moon.
Yeah.
I just saw that.
You believe in the full moon?
I've heard so many different stories from so many different people, especially my uncle daddy. He was a nurse his whole life, basically, and he worked in the ER for the most part. And a lot of people that do work as EMTs and police officers and other people like that see an uptake in violence and different crazy happenings. So I don't know if the moon pulling and pushing and whatnot has anything to do with us, but it does seem like things happen. Is it because you can see better? Is it because of the moon pull? I don't know. I do think there's something behind it. I'm not exactly sure what it is.
Okay. So, you are a believer in Bigfoot, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Along with being a storm chaser for one day, I would love to go watch it.
Well, if you ever come out to Colorado, I know a couple places. I've never seen Sasquatch, but when we were doing security on the mine in Rico, we had an experience where boulders were being thrown down the side of the mountain into the stream below. And my husband had called me and he's like, hey, there's boulders being thrown and these are really big boulders. And I'm like, well, that's not a bear or a deer like walking along, and you know how you hear pebbles and dirt and everything flowing down. This is not a bear or a deer. This is something grabbing a large boulder and throwing it, and it wants you out of its area. But they were up at an old mine, Old King Mine, I think it was called. And they were doing work up there trying to get all of the bad chemicals and such out of it before it goes into the stream. And people would go up there in the good old days and do target practice and such, but we had to protect the tanks because you can't shoot the tanks because then the bad chemicals go out into the environment. So yeah, not only did the locals not like us for it, but Bigfoot didn't. And I went back up there for an investigation at the Enterprise Bar and Grill. We did a paranormal thing there. Next day we went up and I admit I trespassed, but I didn't do anything bad. I just wanted to see if I could find any tracks or anything, and I did. I took pictures because I didn't have plaster cast, but I did get pictures of Bigfoot tracks.
Oh, okay.
In the gravel. So that was interesting, but yeah, I've never seen it.
How big were those feet?
So I wear a size 9 in women's, and it was about 3 inches larger than my foot.
Okay.
So a 9 would be 8 in men's, I think. So it could have been an adolescent, I'm not sure, but yeah, it was bigger than my foot, and it was not a shoe print. It was, you could see the toes and the heel and everything.
Okay.
And I feel bad for him because it's like really rocky, because that was an old mine and there's tellings and such, and so it's really sharp, gravelly rock. But yeah, it was along the back road there on the backside of the mine, right next to the stream where the boulders were thrown off that mountain there. So it was in proximity. I didn't want to go too far into the woods because, you know, Bigfoot. And I was by myself. Everybody else was looking at pretty rocks and I was over here looking for Bigfoot tracks.
Oh man, I was telling somebody about a story. Story we had when I was a Cub Scout. We were camping, and the news had come on that some guy had escaped from jail or something, and he had stolen a car or whatever, and maybe 40 something minutes later, the Cub masters, our scout masters, noticed that there was a car, abandoned car or whatever. Well, they didn't know if it was abandoned at the time, but it was a car parked maybe half a mile from our campsite where we was all camped at. And we must have been some rough guys. I remember all of us just, Cub masters trying to get us to be calm, but we all had our scout knives, and we had about 25 of us young kids running through the forest or whatever, heading towards this vehicle, and
It's like the Lost Boys. You're like, woo!
yeah. Like
we ain't scared. We're gonna tear this guy up.
Yeah, like Satch and the East Side Boys. Remember them?
Yeah.
Yeah, we was running that way. Nobody was there, but they caught him not far from that area. So maybe he had deserted that car. But that was a very interesting night of camping with the Cub Scouts.
Not a lot of sleep. Very interesting day afterwards.
No, not a lot. Yeah. So yeah, just a lot of memories.
Yeah, it was funny because we came down from the mine, went back to the Enterprise to have lunch, and I was telling the bar owner what I found, and this lady's like, "Hey, can I tell you something?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Me and my daughter, we live a block down the road, and we go out on our back porch. We have coffee every morning, and this is facing the opposite way. This is basically built in a valley. There's mountains over here, mountains over here." And she's like, we go out for coffee every morning, we smoke, have our safety meetings, 420, whatever. And she said one morning we saw a Sasquatch, and there's a clearing, there's pine trees, there's aspen trees, and there's a clearing where there's no trees. And they said they saw an albino Sasquatch clear it in about 5 or 6 strides. But they said it was white, which is interesting that there's Bigfoot up on this side, which seem adolescent. And in the ape world, when, the man gets older, they'll send him out and the younger man takes over. So perhaps he's living on the other side of the valley. I do believe there could be albino of every species, but perhaps it's an older Bigfoot.
Mm. And so the young one takes over the leadership of the group, and then the older guy is outcast. That's how they do it?
I guess. Or maybe he was out doing his morning walk. I don't know. But somebody had brought that up a couple weeks ago. Perhaps he's older, so he was cast out.
Yeah, and albino would look pretty pretty funny to me.
Yeah. You hear of
but then you got
Yeti, is it? Yeti and the Abominable Snowman.
That's what
overseas, but then over here, you don't really hear of that, so maybe it's older or maybe it's albino. Cast out for different reasons? Not sure. Maybe it's on its morning walk. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, you hear about them things running up to 50 miles an hour. I heard an interview where the guy said they got the car and was doing 50, and the thing kept up with them.
Forget about it. Ain't nobody got time for that. I need a faster car.
Yeah, so I'm not going in the forest unless I got a nice big 4-wheel drive truck or something that's got some weight on it, and they can do some speed. Yeah, that's I'm not trying to deal with that.
I have this Subaru Brat that I've been, I paid for it to be worked on a year ago. Still isn't fixed. But back in the day when it would run, it could go other places that bigger trucks couldn't. So don't negate the little truck. It's a little Brat. Everybody thinks it's a car because it's got a little camper on the back, but it is a little tiny truck that goes everywhere. It's amazing.
Okay.
So we have about 15 minutes left in the show, and Mr. Roy Washington, this is your show tonight. So is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you'd like to discuss this evening?
I don't know if anybody in the chat rooms have any questions and ask me. See a lot of my friends in the chat room there.
Oh, Andy was saying that was a scary story, Roy. Mooney said, here in Ohio we call them Tessas. Maybe he's talking about the hellhound. It was 22.46 minutes ago, so is that hellhounds, witches, or Bigfoot? Mooney, you gotta let us know.
Probably hellhound they talking about, like that, so I don't know.
Right?
Yeah. Sandra said that was a creepy visual as well.
Yeah, that's when you were talking about the witch and the hellhound. So let me see how far apart that was. 2 minutes apart.
Well, shadow people. I don't think I've had any experiences with shadow people.
Really? That's crazy because they are so rampant. It's kind of like rats. Like there's so many of them all over the place.
Oh, but yes, I have had experience with shadow people. Not that you remember. I worked at a armored car division for like 10 years, 10, 11 years. But the first year that I worked there, we were in this one building that was very, very haunted. It was built on an old Indian ground, and we moved after that first year to another building where it really wasn't as busy as that one. But in that building there, you've seen shadow people. There was a little girl who used to ride on a bicycle because we had all the trucks in there. She used to ride on a bicycle, and but she wasn't there. She was like a ghost. But there was a little girl on a tricycle. She made a guy spill a whole forklift full of coin one day because he had to hit brakes. He seen her. She came from between some trucks, and he had hit brakes. Yeah, no, you could hear a lady screaming sometime in there, but nothing really happened till like it got dark outside. And when we work on the weekends, there'd be only just a couple of us there. You'd hear what would be like we called it the basketball game. The scrimmage game would start. You know, when you watch the basketball
with the sneakers and then the basketball.
You hear that all throughout the building once it starts getting dark, and then that's when you'll see shadow people. The little girl on the bicycle, the forklifts on the forks, the forks of the forklifts would rise up and fall. All kind of crazy stuff would happen like that, you know. And we had the vault that we had to put the money in was toward the end of the building, so we had to walk through all of that craziness to get to the vault. So that was a very scary building that we worked in for a year before we moved. Yeah. And actually, they said it was built on the Indian ground, and there was a basement. I don't think nobody ever went into the basement. I looked down that stairwell. It was looked like a never-ending stairwell, just down into the darkness. And so I don't know if anybody ever went down there, but that was a scary. I always say that building probably took a little bit off my life. That's how scary the building was. And other people that worked there with me, when we kind of reminisce and look back on it, say it was a scary building to work in.
So do you think it took time off your life due to the high stress?
Stress, yes. Like on a Sunday, if it was my weekend to work. If it was my weekend to work, I had to work on a Sunday. I was there by myself. So maybe when the routes got back, to bringing back the money and everything, I had to process everything and take it to the back, to the safe. And I'm there by myself. So I'm trying to get everything done before it gets dark outside. And then in the wintertime, it gets darker quicker here in Wisconsin. And I had one of the forklifts there. The forks dropped on me one day lucky I was leaving. I just hit the alarm to leave, and I was outside, and I heard the forks drop from the forklift, and it sounded like a bomb went off in there. It was so loud. Jumped in the truck, hit it around the building. At the gate, you had to punch in a code. Then the gate started opening, but the gate is opening slow. And I swore something was going to come from behind the truck and get me. I'm looking in the rear view, telling this gate, hurry up, open. And it finally opened, and I got out of there. But yes, just the stress of knowing that whenever you're there by yourself. I'm good if I'm with somebody else, but when I'm by myself, just trying to get out of there before everything got really crazy out in that building. It was nuts.
Yeah, nobody wants overtime.
No, no, not by yourself. But yeah, that was a crazy building. I worked there for 10, 11 years, but that first year was in that one building before we merged with another company. So that first year was something else.
Yeah, it's amazing how many different places and structures are affected by Indian burial grounds as well as battlefields. There's a house that was on the show not too long ago, and I was watching a video the other night on the Paranormal, and they said there was over 1,000 natives killed and many other lives lost there. But for the majority, it was just basically a slaughter of the native people. And so therefore, this house is really tainted from the beginning. And then things that happened and after that have caused a lot of issues. My granny's house, I think, was on an Indian burial ground. So many crazy things there. A dam, I saw it on Franco TV and I've seen on other shows. This place is so freaking haunted. From the get-go, like, they tried to make it work. It wouldn't. They sprung leaks. They had all kinds of other issues, as well as hauntings and people that died during the building of it. But it seems like if you do build on native land, whether it's a burial ground or something that's considered very spiritually inclined or trying to think of the word, can't think of it, very religious grounds for these people. If they're...
You see what
Yeah, are they available for bachelor parties? That woman and her daughter? No, Mooney, they're not. Nobody's seen them since.
Right. Oh, that was a good one.
He makes me laugh all the time.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Like I said, I have a dirty sense of humor, sick sense of humor. Like, my dad basically raised me that way as a youngin'. And then as I got older, like... It's hard to fight it because, even if somebody falls or something happens, at first you laugh and then you're like, oh shit, are you okay? Or whatever. But I don't know. It's
laugh
weird.
First?
Huh?
Laugh first?
Sometimes, yeah, you can't help it. Like, you laugh because the way it looks or something. But then you realize how serious it is and then you run over, hey, are you okay? Or whatever. But yeah, okay, so for example, laughing when you should be crying or screaming or whatnot. My granny had a Jersey cow that she used to milk. And so me and my brother wanted to milk it. Well, my brother, of course, got in there first and started milking on the side you're supposed to. I was being impatient, walked around the cow, went on the side where the calf nurses, and decided to try to milk on that side. Well, the cow reared its foot back, kicked me square off in the head, and I flew about 6 feet. Instead of crying or screaming, I laughed. And then later on in life, I've received a few head injuries, and I always laugh. I don't know if it's like an automatic thing that happens in my head, but yeah. For example, that's some messed up things I laugh about.
That was a powerful kick, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Wow.
I often look like, do I have a dent here? No.
I didn't know it was a certain side you had to be on. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you milk on the right side and the calf feeds on the left. That's for farms. I don't know about, dairy producers or whatnot, but yeah, on my granny's farm, that's how it worked. And
oh, okay.
Yeah, old Jersey, she knew it.
Yeah, so, yeah. Other than that, I like to promote my EP to everybody who's on SOR with me. Once the EP gets ready, I'll let everyone know. It's going to be a nice project.
I'm really looking forward to it, especially hearing the one song from your LP that you share.
Yeah. So thinking back on it, I should have sent you the other one that was finished, but you'll hear it. I think you'll like it. Yep.
I definitely need to send you a list of what I have and what I don't have. I can send you what I have. I can't tell you what I don't have. And you can figure it out from there. That way the music can be updated and we can do some different stuff on here. And I definitely want your stuff on here as well. Send me everything you got.
Okay, most definitely. Yeah.
Well, it's super awesome having you on. Can you tell our listeners again where exactly to go to contact you to get information on these certain artists as well as yourself?
On Twitter, I'm Smooth the Novelist, all one word, Smooth Novelist. On Facebook, you can go to Roy Washington, find me there. Instagram, Novelist 2019. On LinkedIn, Leroy Washington, which is my government name, Leroy Washington. I use Roy Washington to honor my father. That's what he's called me, Roy, all the time. And here on Spreaker, Quest Live and Direct. All one word, Live, the letter N, direct. So that you catch me there.
Very nice. I'm really looking forward to being on your show this Friday the 5th. Super stoked.
Looking forward to having you on there.
Yeah, I'm going to make notes. Because last time, you have different paranormal experiences and then sometimes you skip over things. And so I'm like, I need to make notes because I felt like I was bouncing all over the place last time. But I'm super excited to be on there and hang out with you again for sure.
All right. I look forward to it.
And where can our listeners find your show again?
On Spreaker, Quest Live and Direct. Live, the letter N, direct. And you can email me at lp.wash@yahoo.com.
Awesome. Well, it was awesome to have you on. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much once again, Mr. Roy Washington, a.k.a. Quest Nation, for joining us tonight on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies.
Thank you very much.
And I also wanted to thank our different sponsors, Kevin McDougall, Del Elson, Jim Morrison, Mia Savage, and as I do generally, our musical host, Quest, for providing our music. Thank you so much to all of our friends on We Are Paradox Media's Late Night in the Rockies. I'm so glad you guys could join us tonight on Facebook, Spreaker, Twitter, Periscope, iHeartRadio, and wherever else beyond the Omniverse you've been listening tonight. I had a wonderful time, and I can't wait to do it again next weekend when we have Psychic Saturday with Psychic Chris Garcia. Sunday, it's going to be Sunday Fun Day, and it's going to be a surprise because not even I know yet. But I'm so glad you guys were hanging out with us tonight and getting to know Mr. Quest, a.k.a. Roy Washington. Don't forget, we're all in this together. Together, we can make the world a little better. And together, my friends, we are Paradox Media, because without you, there is no us. And if you'd like to join us for the Skype after party, make sure you get a hold of me at 970-335-9596 or look me up at tessa.n.thomas30@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much again for listening. Until next time, night, love and light, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend.